right. I'm not muted. Let's go. Yay. I'm back. Let's get it. Hey everybody. I'm excited. I see a lot of talk about the subject already. It's really interesting, just this whole scenario. I'll explain it. I see a lot of people saying, who is Milo Winter? We're going to get into all of that. I will say, it's nice to talk about somebody today who is not a horrible human being. I feel like there's going to be a lot of criticism from me for Milo about his book and the way he's handled this level of fame. But it's nice to talk about someone who is not really on the same level at all as most of the insane people who wind up crossing my desk. Hey everybody. Somebody said I have no idea what we're talking about. Yes, don't even worry. Don't even worry. Someone said I'm so invested in this drama as an aspiring writer. Honestly, if y'all like books, if y'all like TikTok, random TikTok drama, if y'all like just like people online who are so interesting and who maintain social presences that are so interesting. If y'all like cautionary tales, this is definitely the stream for you. Someone asked if I have snow in North Carolina. It depends. Yeah, sometimes it snows here, sometimes it doesn't. Someone said the bar is so low. The bar is really low. At this point, my bar is almost like, are you a racist or a billionaire? If not, and insert like the laundry list of actual horrible ways of being a person. It's actually slightly refreshing to come across somebody whose main problem is just like not handling criticism well. Do you remember back way back when? I feel like the vast majority of internet drama that would happen is just because it was about creators who would not handle things well. But now all of a sudden things are just so much worse. Oh my gosh. Someone said if you like Hikaru Utada, please listen to Sheena Ringo and Tokyo Incidents. What if I already think that Sheena Ringo is like the bomb.com? All right. So some of y'all may be new to the streams, in which case, hi and welcome. I will say this. The usual setup is that we do about 30 minutes of yap. I'm just gonna yap for the next 20 or so minutes, mostly just because I want to give people time to kind of show up, get settled in, especially for this stream, because this is a very like story time sort of setup where the person I'm talking about, he's been active for a couple years now, and this sort of dates back all the way to 2021. So I don't just want to jump right into it, because then if you show up 10 minutes late and you're like, well, I say you showing up 10 minutes late as if I didn't show up 10 minutes late, but you know what I mean. I want to give people time to really get settled in because we have a lot to go over today. It's wild. Someone said we need more low stakes fumbling of the bag. Yes, please. More people who just are doing things that I can sit back and say, oh, that's a little strange and I don't think you should have done that. But I don't feel like you're going to hate crime me. Someone said I love the music in the beginning. Are you going to upload it? Probably not. I think the thing about music is I love making music for sure, but I feel like the idea of releasing music for me personally is like, I don't want yet another source of like numbers and algorithms and stuff to have to worry about. It's nice that music is just something I can do randomly. Someone say I love your tattoo so much. WTH. Why, thank you. I like my tattoo a lot as well. Some said the level of FBI work done in this drama was hilarious. Okay, hold on. Wait. I'm glad you said that. If you are somebody who is really deeply familiar with this whole Milo Winter / Age of Scorpius thing, please don't expect me to actually genuinely cover every single aspect of it. I'm more so approaching this as like a top level bird's eye view. I have a lot of sources. I have a lot of sources in my outline, to be sure. But if I was actually to truly get into the nitty gritty of every single thing that happened day by day, we would truly be here all day. This is mostly just for people, because the vast majority of people are not familiar with like the way booktok drama works, I feel. And so this is mostly for them. Just so we know. Somebody said, isn't he dead? Isn't who dead? I don't believe the person I'm speaking about is dead. I really hope not. That would be awful. Someone said that's so fair. Yeah, no, thank you for understanding. It's not completely comprehensive. All right, all right. Someone said, dare I say multiple days? No, for real. Someone said, you should low-key get into your process of making music further. At some point, I've always wanted to be able to do it for my own projects, but I have such paralysis when it comes to starting things. Well, I can tell you this right now. Nothing ever sounds good in the beginning. Nothing ever looks good in the beginning. None of my videos make any sense in the beginning. Like initially when I had my outline for this one, I was just like, this one person wrote a book and people were mad, question mark. And so it's like, I would say if you're paralyzed by, or, you know, you feel stuck by the idea of starting things, try to make something that exists. Because that's the thing, is like, the only purpose of a first draft is to exist, right? I think when we go into wanting to create artwork, we're inspired by a lot of things that are very beautiful. Obviously, if you are wanting to make music, you probably have a bunch of artists you could list that you feel, you know, are inspiring or whatever. But even those artists who are making wonderful and beautiful things, their ideas started off pretty bad, pretty ugly. I can promise you that. It doesn't matter. You could be the most talented musician, you know, of all time, whipping up magic out of thin air on stage. You're still going to have the vast majority of your stuff be ugly. So please make it ugly first and then make it better. And I feel like that's a good way of moving past all of just the difficulty of finishing artistic projects. Because it's really easy to have ideas and stuff. But yeah, the first version of my intro music was like pretty mid. I won't lie to you. It was pretty bad. But I just kept working on it until it sounds nice. And now people like it. Yay. Yay. All right, what else we got? BookTok drama is my favorite because it's so low stakes versus some of the other nonsense going on. I know, and nonsense isn't the nonsense is the understatement of the century. I agree with you greatly. I'm so happy to have you back on YouTube and to be free to watch a live stream. I know. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Someone said, "Are you discussing his young adult novel or his surprise poetry book that was just released, or both?" It's mostly the YA. Book. The young adult novel, or I'm sorry, the poetry book is what brought this on my radar though, because when he dropped that, I saw people saying like, oh my gosh, this is that person. And then that's when I finally looked into this. My knitting is improving. I started practicing this past week. Let's go. People who do fiber arts are just like talented. The skill, the math, it could not be me. Someone said your music reminds me of my Game Boy days. That makes me so happy. That could not make me happier. I feel like I'm inspired by video game music more than anything. So yay, I'm glad it came through. All right, what else we got? What else we got? This is exciting. Milo, king of prepositional phrases. Okay, yeah, no, here's another thing. If you are like a writer or have any sort of linguistic ability, you listening to me explain why I think that this book is pretty bad might be kind of painful, because I'm going to be using really vibe-based words like, oh, this just isn't hitting or this is just not it. But you could also do like an actual breakdown of what is wrong. It's so interesting, but we're going to get into it. What's your favorite video game OST? Final Fantasy 13 by Masaishi Hamauzu, hands down. Yeah, no question about it. I don't even have to think about that. However, I do also greatly appreciate Kingdom Hearts music. It's so good. And then also Persona has really good music. So maybe that's like my top 3. It snowed so much where I live right now, so I'm home watching this stream. Wait, hold on. Speaking of, forget snow for a second. Did any of y'all cell service go out yesterday? Did any? I feel like I would be really shocked if there was no one here in chat whose cell service in the United States totally went down. That happened to me yesterday because Verizon had this massive outage that was affecting a bunch of people. Like, I think hundreds of thousands of people, if I'm not mistaken. It was so annoying. Someone said briefly, bro, mine was out for a while. Hold on. I'm going to show y'all because this is actually kind of wild. I whipped up like an agenda for today. That way I can find everything I want to talk about. And then I don't remember where I actually saved that. So there was almost no point in me doing so. Okay, wait, hold on. Oh, here we go. This is the agenda for 1:15. Is it 1:15? If that's today, then these are the right sources. Okay, So yeah, Verizon went down, and many people here have Verizon. This is Reuters saying it affected hundreds of thousands of people. Someone said my Wi-Fi was out, not my cell. That's wild because I literally had the opposite problem where my Wi-Fi was working fine. But yeah, no, it was wild. Nobody could text me. Nobody could call me unless I was on Wi-Fi, but I wasn't. I actually, believe it or not, was out while this happened. And I was like, what is going on here? Someone said if it was, they didn't notice. I wish I was so disconnected that I didn't notice. I feel like I wouldn't have noticed if I had been doing something else. But like, yeah, no, it was pretty bad. Also, this is really cringe, but AT&T, because Verizon is the one that went out, they put out this response. Corporate like snark is so annoying to me. It just reads as so cringe. Our network, solid. If you're experiencing issues, it's not us. It's the other guys. Some things are just out of our hands. But if you're interested in giving us a try, I'm like, okay, ha ha ha. I feel like in like 2016, like literally 10 years ago, I used to be a pretty big fan of corporate snark because it was new, it was novel. But I feel like I've been burned out by it now. And I'm actually just like, can y'all just be professional? I'm sorry. You don't need to be on X trying to be cute about Verizon going out when y'all are probably going to go out tomorrow. Like, I don't know. Why are we still here? Someone said every day we get closer to Cyberpunk. No, for real, like, y'all ain't people. It's not cute. Someone said I use AT&T. Okay, well, I'm not manifesting that AT&T goes out tomorrow. Okay, even though that would be really funny. But no, I don't think it's gonna happen. Someone said Wendy's Twitter altered the timeline in irreversible ways. For real. Someone said corporate snark has gotten way worse since AI. Number one, I agree with you. Number two, everything has gotten way worse since AI. It reads as an annoying, overly enthusiastic about work coworker when you're having a bad day. Oh my gosh. Levels of Sega does what Nintendo don't. I know. And at least again, like, that was a while ago. That was interesting. Droid used to does anybody remember I don't? It was this ad campaign that Droid would run back when it was called Droid. Not Android necessarily. And it was like, I don't, open multiple tabs, or I don't do this. Droid does. And then they do the sound like Droid. Does anybody remember that? Do we remember when Android was just called Droid and it went like Droid? I totally remember that. I totally remember that. Someone said snark is just bad all around. Honestly, I've been trying to be... Hold on, let me not lie. I haven't been trying to be less sarcastic. I'm still just like... I'm annoying, as you know what. But like, I think I've been trying not to be cynical about things. Because actually, personally, and this is just my opinion and what I want for my own life, I find cynicism... or like extreme acerbic sarcasm and all that stuff, it's kind of mid. Actually, sometimes I just want to be happy. Sometimes I want to see something and then just not feel the need to make any sort of snarky comment. Sometimes I want to see hundreds of thousands of people lose their cell service and then just be like, oh, that must really suck. That probably made some people's day a little bit worse. And then not feel the need to go on Twitter memeing about it. But like, I'm very hypocritical because I will turn around and be snarky about literally anything else. So I'm probably just mad about this because it was my cell service that went out. And this could have been a different thing where I'm like, all right, let's see who in the chat had Verizon, which of y'all was missing cell service while I was out here on AT&T making all the calls I wanted with no problem. So who really knows? Someone said sometimes I just want to be happy. Is that a Dixie D'Amelio reference? Or am I reading too much into that? Chat, am I reaching? Does anybody remember Dixie D'Amelio's? That might not have even been a reference. I might just be so like lost in the sauce that I... Influencer music as a pipeline, that it needs to be studied. Actually, at some point, I feel like I should do an influencer music tier list and it would be really, really, really funny. Someone says, is that the Dixie D'Amelio song? Yeah. Sometimes I don't want to be happy. Don't hold it against me. That... Why did she do that? I feel like it's been long enough for me to genuinely ask why she did that. What was the reason? What was the reason? Oh my gosh, it's so good. So the song's so trash. I don't think it was very good, personally. It was very interesting. I feel like here's the thing though, and maybe this will be my last topic before we get into it. I'm not completely against the concept of people who once were influencers or even popular online making music, right? We've talked about this on stream before. Conan Gray, good artist, great songwriter, has a wonderful voice and stuff, right? I do think it's notable, however, that he was already making music or into music before he switched to a music career. Similarly, Joji, right? Great music because this is a musician. Troye Sivan, a lot of people don't know, was doing like music stuff. But I think like I'm a lot more wary of people who don't seem to have any sort of music career or musical interest or whatever, and then are doing music to us. That's when I get a little like, okay, what's going on here, chat? What is going on here? Someone said Conan Gray's an icon. Yeah, Conan Gray's music is really solid. It's some good stuff. Put it in the playlist. I will not complain. I won't. But yeah, no, like I feel like too, you also can low-key learn how to make good music, right? Like Addison Rae, for example, who I'm not standing Addison Rae or hyping her up. I'm just solely talking about her music. The first stuff she was putting out wasn't good, right? To me. But then I feel like she kind of locked in and workshopped the sound a little bit. And now it is something where like, if it came on in a playlist, I'm not going to be like, oh, I can turn it off. She used to do TikTok to put her in jail. You know what I mean? I mean, maybe. I don't know. Someone said, I love Conan, great lyrics, a poet. Yes. I'm definitely like a lyrical person sometimes though. Sometimes I'm really not, and I just like noise and garbage. Oh my gosh. Someone said, I'm so glad you're talking about this drama. It's my Roman Empire. I'm really, really, really going to try to do it justice. I promise I'm going to try to do it justice. Here's the last thing else. How many last things do I say before switching topics? I have like 5 last things I ever say before switching a topic. Hold on. I want you to know before we start, and I'm being so serious right now, that it's not lost on me that a lot of times big creators, yeah, I'm a big creator. A lot of times big creators will talk about things that happen in niche communities, even though booktok's not a niche community. And they will misconstrue it and make everybody in that community look really stupid because it's easy to do that. If you're not familiar with booktok, which is a lot of people, it would be really easy for me to sit here on the live stream and be like, booktok is insane. Everybody there is crazy. They're ruining the publishing industry, and have everybody agree with me and this, that, the other. It's a really, really, really lame way of running a commentary channel. Just taking a bunch of things that your audience doesn't know about and selling it to them in a way that's easy to make fun of. That way you don't even have to do research. You can just point fingers and be like, oh, this is cringe. And everyone agrees with you, right? It's giving 2016. It's giving just bad content. So even though this is a video about booktok stuff, please don't think I'm just that guy outside of booktok who is like, oh yeah, I'm going to make booktok look bad again. Because first of all, this is going to be mean. Booktok does enough of a job making itself look bad every now and then. I do feel like I don't even have to do that. First of all, I'm just saying. But secondly, it is also literally just a community of people who are reading. It doesn't make any sense to make any sort of broad judgments about what is a group of people when like some people there are reading some stuff and other people are reading other things and this, that, the other. So yeah, I don't want this to be like a punching down video. And then also I read books. I'm not actually completely divorced from this drama. I have really strong feelings about the publishing industry and novels. I've read some fantasy novels as well. So it's not even like, it's not that. I'm not trying to give that. So please just remember. Someone said my nuance king. I try to have as much nuance as I can. I can't be 100% nuanced about anything. But I feel like trying to be nuanced goes a really long way. It goes a really long way. All right. Well, with that being said, this is the start. If you weren't here before this, if you show up at any point after this, you're going to be confused. I'm not going to re-explain things. All right. So I need y'all to rock with me. If you see people asking questions in chat, help them out, because I'm going to try to make this. I'm going to try to make this really simple. All right. I'm dropping. My clothes are falling off on the stream. Viewers going through the roof. Let's go. No, I'm just kidding. YouTube, I'm not taking my clothes off on stream. Even though technically I wouldn't even get dinged for that, which is weird. But like, don't even get me started. All right. So you don't have to be a booktuber to make videos about booktube. Exactly. Even though I wouldn't mind being a booktuber, though. If my audience was primarily interested in books and I could get away with only talking about books, I would do that for sure. But yeah, no, this is me kind of presenting it to people on the outside. Raise your hand if you're familiar with Milo Winter or The Age of Scorpius. Many of you may be raising your hands. I promise y'all are in a bubble. The average person, this came and went, but it happened on booktok. So simultaneously, you had a lot of people talking about it, but like nobody outside of this bubble of people realizes that this went down. And I find it, to use a very trite word, fascinating. I think that this is such a good cautionary tale, and it's nice to talk about something that is not intensely depressing. It's not a depressing story. It's kind of a sad and strange story, which works a little bit better for me personally. Hi, I'm D'Angelo, and this video is about failed Kickstarters, bad books, and essentially just how not to handle online fame and converting it into selling people a product. I feel like you should take this entire drama and put it next to cautionary tale in the dictionary. Someone said I was about to type who? Yeah, no, I say this a lot on my stream. If you're confused or you don't know what I'm talking about, you're the target audience. You are the target audience. All right, so first things first. I'm the realist. Sorry, I just had to. Pulling up my outline. Gonna get into it. So the first thing that I would like to say, and it is kind of funny that I have to say this, is that the person I'm talking about is a real person, right? This is sort of an older TikTok. I kind of don't want to flatten. Oh wait, hold on. Audio's happening, but we're not hearing audio. Give me 1 second, because this is not my first rodeo. You would think I would remember to do this before advanced audio properties, monitor and output, monitor off, close, advanced audio properties, monitor and output. Okay, great. I fixed it. You think I would remember to do that before starting stream, but I don't learn from my mistakes. Anyways, I'm going to mute this because I don't want to hear it. Anyway, how do I use TikTok? Okay, there we go. So I'm going to kind of skip ahead. There's a lot of things that you could say about Milo. But the main thing that's important is that he wrote a book. And nothing was the same after that. So as you see in this sort of about me post, he says, I've written about wars and justice since I was 10. I am an author of a dystopian fantasy series with over 1,000 years of history in my world, right? I can't overstate that the person I'm talking about today, hold on, let me show you an example of someone I think we should be hating on. I would apologize, but I like jump scaring people. Oh, there he is. Oh no. Okay. So for example, we're not talking about an Elon Musk type today. Okay. Not a billionaire, not a racist, not somebody who I think even needs to lose their career or whatever. Just a case study for why I don't think internet virality is good for everybody. Does that make sense? Sorry for the Elon Musk jump scare. Sorry, I apologize. My bad. But I want to put it in context. I really, really do want to put it in context, because I do feel like people can lose the plot when it comes to internet drama. They really can. I'm not asking. I know. And it's multiple things can be true. We can talk about multiple kinds of people or whatever, but I don't really think, hate is a great response to what is ultimately just a pretty lame situation. Anyways, I just had to put that disclaimer out. It's important to me. I don't want to see the same level of vitriol for this person that I would see for someone who is actually evil, etc. Anyways, other notes that are important. Milo uses he, him pronouns, goes by Milo. However, the book in question was published under the name Audra Winter back when he used different pronouns and stuff like that. In fact, that's still the name on the book right now. I'm not going to be misgendering or like dead naming Milo or anything like that, especially not intentionally. I may accidentally, use the wrong pronouns or whatever, but not out of disrespect. So as you can see, we have the Age of Scorpius right here on Goodreads. Now, I don't know how much y'all know about books, but a 1.46 is not a good score. And usually if I see 1.46, I would be like, oh no, this has got to be like, this has got to be performative. Y'all must just be hating on this for no reason. No, it's kind of bad, but we're going to get back to that in a second. Also, speaking of Goodreads, I don't even review books like that because I'm more of a Storygraph person. Does anybody, this is my first digression, does anybody here prefer Storygraph over Goodreads? If I can do some anti-Goodreads hype right now, I'm going to do it. Hold on. I haven't been promoted or paid to do this. So that's not me doing that. But like, oh wait, I can't even log into Storygraph. Wait, I want to show y'all my Storygraph. I do. Hold on, let me try to log in really fast. There's some good stuff on here, for real. Hey, we in. Hold on, we are so in. Okay, I don't actually want y'all on my profile. So I am going to hide it by pressing F11. Okay, great. None of y'all should really be able to tell that this is my account, but you know what? If you can, I don't really care that bad. So yeah, no, this is Storygraph, y'all. This is where it's really at. Oh wait, never mind. I feel like my username is right there. Okay, fine. I'm Bowserdorf on Storygraph. I did a really poor job of hiding that. Don't send me a request. Don't interact with me. I'm not going to answer it. But you know what? If you want to see all 137 books that I put on my Storygraph, feel free to do so. I'm not ashamed. Okay, I ain't out here reading nothing bad. Or if I am, that's not my responsibility. I didn't write it. We have some good stuff on here. Cersei by, I guess, Madeline Miller was the last book that I finished. So that was the end of November. Man, I need to do some more reading for real. This was a pretty solid book. I liked it. I feel like the vibes are really good in that one. What else did I read that I thought was really interesting? Oh, You Weren't Meant to Be Human by Andrew Joseph White was pretty good. Definitely not something I would recommend to most people. But if you are okay with like deeply scarring horror media and also like crazy levels of dysphoria and stuff like that, oh, you would love this book. You're a certain kind of person, it would be great for you. Someone said, what does Bowserdorf mean? I need to know. Oh, Bowserdorf is this guy right here from Nintendo mixed with this guy right here from Nintendo. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a very like creative person, so I just mashed together my two favorite Nintendo villains, and what do you know? Anyways, villains. But speaking of which, I don't even feel like Bowser's actually a villain, but that's a completely different topic. Let's stick to books. Okay, before I close my Storygraph, is there anything else here? Actually, I literally read like, how many books did I read in 2026? None, because I forgot that was this year. How many books did I read in 2025? Okay, yeah, I got 81 books on here. So actually, I'm not finna let none of y'all talk about, oh, he's misrepresenting booktok. Oh, he's just using us for... Shut up. I read more books than you probably. And that's because I had the privilege to do so. But yeah, no, I'm a reader. I'm out here, okay? I was reading V.E. Schwab. I read that one for book club. I read Jade City. That one was pretty good. Jade City was pretty lit, actually. I was trying to read classics too. I was reading Toni Morrison. You know what I mean? I'm trying to educate myself. Dennis Cooper, don't recommend. Those books are crazy, and I feel like I got put on a watch list after reading those. But I did read those as well. We got James Baldwin out here. Like, are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me? I'm reading. Oh, hold on. Bird Box was not good. Bird Box wasn't good to me as a book. I thought because like the movie was a thing, I was like, oh, this is gonna be so fun. I'm gonna read Bird Box. No. No. And then I have like Joyce Carol Oates on here a few times because like I love Joyce Carol Oates' writing. It's so interesting, fascinating. I start using really stupid and annoying words when I talk about books. It's bad, and that's why I don't think anyone wants to hear that. I read this book, which is another watch list one where I'm just like, bro. FBI, open up. I read Flowers in the Attic. Actually, speaking of watch lists, yeah, I read that whole book. I was just kind of curious because I remember like the way the book is talked about, and I was like, the Flowers in the Attic can't be that bad. This has got to be some sort of a reaction. Y'all, they're related. What do you mean? Okay, sorry. That book is crazy. But if y'all think that, like, I was gonna stop reading it, y'all are crazier. That's my problem is like, I do not DNF books. Somebody said, what's happening? Or we're just talking about books before I go back to talking about Milo Winter. I am so bad at DNFing a book. I will just continue reading all the way through, whether it was actually good for me or not, unless it literally has stuff in there that I think is like, well, I do think the stuff in Flowers in the Attic is objectionable, but no, I still read it. Let the Right One In. Very creepy novel, very creepy. Anyways, I can't keep going because there's truly a lot of books on here, and y'all don't really want to hear about that, I'm sure. The 5th season, heartbreaking. Great writing, though. Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaughey. Has anyone read that one? That one's pretty interesting. It just goes on and on. Goes on and on and on. Now look at this. I read Frankenstein. I reread Frankenstein in April before that Del Toro movie came out. Okay, I was ahead of the curve. I didn't read it because the movie was announced. I was like, I just like the story. All right. Hold on, let's go back. We're already in February, so I'm almost done here. Death of the Author by Nnedi Okorafor was a really cool book. And Severance by Ling Ma, I guess, was the first novel I actually finished in 2025. Severance is a beautiful novel. It has nothing to do with the Apple TV show, though I think the TV show is really good. But anyways, that's all. Did someone said so many good books? I'm trying. Look, I like reading books written by people who have different perspectives because I feel like that is such a shortcut to learning. Like you want a shortcut. Oh, Ursula K. Le Guin. Oh my gosh. Hold on. This is a dangerous stream. Because I could really talk about her for the rest of it. But yeah, no, like just being a dude, just who is literally just some guy. I'm non-binary, but I'm still just a man and some guy. And then reading books written by women. Reading like what's her face? The Handmaid's Tale. Margaret Atwood. And then just seeing the various ways that I feel like writers will pick apart like patriarchy and men and all their roles and stuff. I've been reading those books feeling guilty. I'm like, I'm sorry. Dang, I didn't mean it. But like, it's helpful information. It's useful information. And that's why I love reading books written by so many different kinds of people, because like, I have much less of an excuse, I guess, when it comes to me walking through this world like an idiot. It's harder to do that when you're reading things written by smart people. It's harder to be dumb. And I feel like I have a tendency towards dumbness. So I will allow myself to be educated by Margaret Atwood and Ursula K. Le Guin, rest in peace, etc., etc. Someone said, are you a book annotator? I don't make any notes. I'm crazy about it. Anyways, shifting back into the topic, the Age of Scorpius. So all this to say, y'all, I've seen a lot of scores for books on this website. If you got a 1.46, you must have done something that really, really pissed people off. So I would say this all mostly started in 2021, or I would say it picked up in 2021, which is when Milo started getting acclaim. I don't know, making waves. He uses the word going viral a lot. It definitely was like making noise on TikTok. I wouldn't say it was as viral as something like, say, Fourth Wing or anything like that. But let me show you. I have so many links for this one, and it's so hard to like navigate TikTok because the website on desktop is cringe. I feel like it would be easier sometimes if I could just stream from my phone. But anyways, this is him. Milo Winter writes 100,000 followers. That's the thing. Some of these TikToks might be obscure. They might only have a few likes or whatever, but this is definitely something that people were aware of, right? And the reason people were following is because they really liked the world that he created in his story, The Age of Scorpius. So let me pull that up. Which I do have to say is a cool idea.
My name is Winter.
I have to give him that. Okay, so hold on a second. Oh, wait, I pressed the wrong button. Put my headphones on. So this is Milo in the flesh.
I am the creator of the world of Guardian, which is a fantasy world based around the zodiac signs, and I am the author of a book called The Age of Scorpius, which is the debut novel to this world. It is a...
All right. Hook us up, Milo. You've got people in the comments from, I mean, as recently as like shortly before the book came out, saying things like, I'm an independent author, cool stuff. I love it. Can't wait to read it. Will you be doing an Audible? You know what I mean? My For You page keeps bringing me back to you. I'm an avid reader, but fantasy is my second least favorite. But you've made this sound so interesting. I'm going to buy a copy and try this book. I see people in the comments saying, oh, they remember this now. Oh, did you have to see him to remember? Yeah, no, this kind of did make a little bit of a splash. Looking at the world itself, I can totally see why it worked for people, right? And I don't want this video to seem like, oh, it's just me like dunking on this one person's fantasy idea. So it says the world of Guardian is a creative studio formed around The Age of Scorpius, Milo Winter's debut novel. It's a story of an anti-fascist resistance in a zodiac-based world with a detailed magic system, offering a unique genre blend of sword and sorcery, romance, and dystopian science fantasy. Our all-human team is proudly anti-generative AI. We are creative-led, and we put people first. And all of that is true. It's actually not the story of some annoying person using AI and plagiarizing things or anything like that. Truly, a lot of care was put into this flagship product, as they say. It's just unfortunate that caring about something a lot doesn't make it good. Uh-oh. Someone said I'm waiting for the ball to drop here. I know. This literally... Dude, there was a world in which this wouldn't even be a video that you're watching right now because everything would have been fine. I think the issue is Milo is not a great writer. And Milo thinks that he is one of the greatest writers of all time. Okay, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but when such a core aspect of the story is Milo constantly telling everybody that actually he's a master writer and knows what he's been doing because he's been doing this since he was 12. That's where we're sort of getting into a problem here. Someone said the fact that we have to be wary of AI written books now is deeply depressing. Yeah, it is. It's annoying. Someone said this didn't make it to my desk. Good. Someone said I hate this fantasy fascism thing. Well, I agree that like high key, I get really burned out when I open... Oh, this is a good digression. I get real burned out when I open fantasy novels and like the core issue is racism, but racism, fascism, it's insert whatever thing. Homophobia sometimes I feel like makes its way into books when there is little to no actual attempt to engage with the people in that novel who would be at the lowest end of the society, right? So I feel like a good example of that would be like, no, I don't even want to listen to an example because then it's going to turn into a whole discourse, and that's not what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for feedback on this opinion, but I'm just telling you it's annoying opening fantasy novel and seeing slavery for the 7th time and not getting any sort of actual perspective of the people who in that book would be considered to be slaves. And I feel like fantasy writers can be really bad about that. I'm not saying this about Milo, by the way, because I haven't read The Age of Scorpius. But yeah, no, that's a good point. Someone asks how old is he now? Do you mean Milo? I believe he's like 23 or something like that. We're going to get into the age thing in a second too, because I feel like that's pretty notable. It's pretty notable. Someone said he doesn't have anything like outright offensive in the book from what I've seen. Yeah, exactly. And that's not what this video is about. Like, oh, this person sucks and I hate them. I hate so few people. It takes too much energy. Anyways, in 2022, okay, Milo announced that he had gotten agented. Who here knows what it means to get agented? It's actually kind of a really difficult thing to do out of the blue, but I'll show you the announcement. All right, so here we have, I wish I could make TikTok's full screen, but I, again, don't really know how to use this website, and it makes me feel stupid. I think I have to mute this. Someone said him being young is relevant. Dude, him being young is so relevant. Usually, I don't think people's age matters a lot. However, I think it's pretty notable that most books are published by people who are quite a bit older than this, because to publish a novel, you have to be able to accept a level of feedback that is really, really difficult to do when you are really young. Anyways, so in this TikTok, we have Milo showing off, you know, his many binders for the world of Guardian. I'm not knocking that. Probably hella work went into this, right? More work than I've done to make this video, for example. And I believe this is the same video where... Okay, wait, hold on, wait. TikTok editing, bro, I can't. We see 98,000 words, apparently, for The Age of Scorpius. Oh. Lord almighty. And then, where's the agent part? I swear to God that this is also... Well, whatever. Take my word for it. And then he also announces that this is where he got an agent, right? It's hard for me to explain because I have never tried to publish a book or anything like that. However... people do be writing articles like, hey, getting an agent to rep your novel is hard AF. Here's how I did it, according to Greenwich Time over here. Or like, have y'all ever heard of the Pub Tips subreddit? Pub Tips. I feel like this is actually a pretty good subreddit where people are mostly trying to help each other. But yeah, no, this is like, it is really, really hard to get anybody to, oh, you can't see that because that's really small. It is really, really, really hard to get anybody to pay attention to the things that you're creating, let alone have them pay attention in a way that is going to lead to you getting traditionally published, right? So the fact that people were interested in something that he was putting out on TikTok and he was able to get an agent out of this, everything was starting off really well. Everything was starting off great. I don't think this could have been a happier beginning. If only there was a happy ending. All right, so what do I have next for you? Unfortunately for Milo, he wound up getting dropped by his publisher. Now, this is a part where it's kind of like, oh, wait a second. Well, yo, my link I have for this just disappeared. Wait, hold on. Wait, give me like 1 second. This is the rescue run where sometimes if I save a link wrong and it disappears, then I'm just sitting here looking like a dummy. Okay, wait. Okay, I think I found what I'm looking for. Hopefully. All right, so I don't know what's happening here, but I support you. Okay, so anyways, he comes back in 2024, the very end of 2024, and says that he got dropped by his agency. It's mostly here in the description. And this is where I want to highlight the age thing. In 2021, I went viral for my fantasy novel and world based around the zodiac signs called The Age of Scorpius. Since then, it's been a crazy ride. Hold on. I can scroll. I didn't even realize. I started my journey to publication at 15 years old, with Querying Agents, a beta version of the story I write now. At 18, I went viral for my concept and characters, amassing over 100,000 followers and 2 million views. At 19, I signed with a literary agency in hopes of traditionally publishing my novel. From age 19 to 21, I spent my time carefully editing and crafting my debut, and at 21, my literary agency dropped me due to switching genres. At 22, I'm an entrepreneur in writing and ready to establish my career as an author. Now, someone said Age of Scorpius is my comfort scandal. Honestly, that's valid though. That's pretty valid. I feel like I don't want to just blindly repeat, or I shouldn't say blindly. I don't just want to like repeat without scrutinizing this idea that like this is the agent sort of leaving Milo out to dry here, because the reason that he gave genre switching doesn't really seem to track with the actual agent themselves. I'm not saying Milo got dropped because his book was bad and not because it was sci-fi and fantasy. I'm just saying claiming that it was a genre issue when the agent who dropped you still seems to publish quite a bit of science fiction and fantasy, I have to question. Someone said, wait, genre change like Age of Scorpius or a new book? Yeah, I don't, here, hold on, let me pull up. Here is, oh my god, hold on. Here's Milo explaining it himself. He could do a better job than me.
Put a finger down if you went super viral in 2021 for a young adult fantasy novel based around the zodiac signs that you wrote, a series you worked on since you were 12 years old, and you actually gained 100,000 followers within 3 months for a book that had not been published yet. So you signed with a literary agency at age 19 because your book was so popular and so viral, but that book stayed in revision for 3 years after that because you wanted to make it the best that it could be, and so did your agency, and so you spent tons of time grueling over revisions. And within these 3 years, you moved to college, you moved to Colorado, and then you moved to Yellowstone National Park and you experienced a natural disaster and you moved back to Colorado because of that. And then you had your worst lesbian heartbreak of your life in Colorado. And so then you moved to Alaska and become a deckhand because you have to. My name is Dr. Winter.
If any of y'all put a finger down after hearing all this, I'm banning you. It would be really funny though if someone heard this and they're like, oh yeah, that exact same scenario happened to me as well. Anyway, hold on, I lost my place. I hate TikTok.
Disaster, and you moved back to Colorado because you have to jump to conclusions, obviously. And then at the ripe age of 21, after working
Here we go.
for 3 years straight, your literary agency changes genres and dumps you. And so now you're back to square one.
I don't want to ascribe emotions that may not be there. That sounds a little bitter. That sounds a little pointed. I'm just going to pull up the agent in question. Hold on. And tell you something ain't adding up. The agent still seems very, very proud of still representing romance, fantasy, horror, sci-fi, pop culture, and cookbooks and lifestyle. Also, many of the authors that the agent still represents are science fiction and fantasy authors. So again, I'm gonna we'll take your word for it, Milo, but I just want to throw that out there. I don't want to throw this agent under the bus. Someone said never mind the fact that he later claimed he chose to leave the agency. Look, don't get me started, or do get me started. This is a perfect time to bring this up, but you see where I'm getting at. All right, so I'm moving on from the agent point. On the very last day of 2024, right after announcing, oh, hey, I got dropped, but I'm still going to release the book, which, you know what? Good on you for not quitting. Milo tells us that the Age of Scorpius is complete. It's done. Okay. Hold on. Which is a pretty big deal. Oh, wait. Oh my gosh. Copyright music blast. So anyways, I worked on my young adult fantasy. I'm not reading all that, I'm going to be honest, but you get the point. It's finally happening. Why are there so many words on screen? Is this AI? No, it is. This is an AI generated summary of the content. Why would I need an AI generated summary of a 20-second video? This is what I mean when I say I need y'all to stop trying to AI optimize literally everything. Why does TikTok need an AI to explain its actual 20-second videos to its users? Have we reached that level? Oh, sorry. Now I sound bitter. Now I sound dumb. This cannot be where we are, where we need to actually explain 20-second videos to people. Okay, sorry. Lord. Anyways. Everything has to be more AI fodder for the AI gods. I can't believe this. So anyways, after writing over 750,000 words, over 9 years. You know what I mean? Finally, you have, where's like the finished version? Oh, here we go. Finished at 118,000 words. Okay, it's done. So now it's time for 2025. We've got to sell the book. Okay. Someone said be bitter about that. You're right. I should be. I should be bitter that we're making 20-second videos and TikTok is using AI to explain to people. It's just dumb. It's dumb. It's bad. It's a poor usage of resources for sure. Someone said it's a TikTok feature. I don't think it's Milo's doing. Yeah, no, I'm mad at TikTok. Milo didn't enable AI to do this. Milo's very anti-AI, as we should all be. And also, I think that's a great example of how multiple things can be true. Somebody can be very anti-AI and then still do things that are really rubbing people the wrong way. So anyways, let's kind of go into the very final day of, or no, we just moved past the last day of 2024. Okay, I'm going down my timeline to make sure I'm not lying to y'all or getting lost in the sauce. So yes, on the last day of 2024, he announces that the book is done. Going into 2025, we enter this very, very awkward period where Milo is trying to force the book to go viral. Let me explain something to you, and I don't have to explain it because we all know it's true. You cannot force something to go viral. You just can't do it. Okay. Did anybody recently see Doomsday with an N? Doomsday. Okay, here this is the best way I can explain this. So a few years ago, Barbie and Oppenheimer, the major motion pictures, were released on the same day, right? And because of that, we had like Barbenheimer, which was a really, really, really big deal. And I actually personally thought was hilarious. Yes, obviously this was a marketing thing that was really beneficial to prop up movie studios, but it doesn't change the fact that it was hilarious, right? It went viral. Whatever level of authenticity or lack thereof doesn't really matter. It actually worked. I saw recently that they're trying to do this Doomsday thing right now because Dune 3 and Avengers Doomsday are coming out on the same day. And I'm like, stop. Robert Downey Jr. and Timothée Chalamet want to make Doomsday a thing. You can't do it. If they did we truly learn nothing from one of the most important lines ever given by one of the most important philosophers of our generation? You can't make fetch happen, right? Where's the picture? I love this picture. Stop trying to make fetch happen, essentially. Unfortunately, most of early 2025 was Milo Winter trying to make fetch happen. Okay, so let me pull examples of that. Someone said, no, we cannot. You can't make it happen. I can't force myself to go viral. It just happens every now and then. And then I have to deal with the backlash. You should just count yourself lucky. Okay, so hold on. So from this period, we get fun things like day one of attempting to get a viral video before the TikTok ban so I can publish my TikTok famous novel. And it's like, okay, Milo, I see where you're going with that. You get stuff like 1 second. This, and just so you don't think that I'm like ascribing intention where there is none, you can see him back at the very end of 2024 saying, hey, it's pretty small, and I can't make it bigger because again, this website's awful. But someone asks about the book and he says, it's called The Age of Scorpius. I'm getting ready to launch it. I just need one viral video about it. I will say also, this is like a monkey's paw scenario. Milo did get one viral video. Actually, Milo got so many viral videos about The Age of Scorpius between that ill-fated comment and its release date, mostly because of the way Milo was presenting himself online, which people were not rocking with. Also, when people say the monkey's paw, I always just think of the Pussycat Dolls. And I know that might sound stupid, but hold on. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, like the monkey's paw scenario is literally just like a story essentially saying be careful what you wish for because you just might get it, but it might happen to you in a way that you don't want. But I can't ever hear the phrase be careful what you wish for without thinking of that one Pussycat Dolls song. What is it called? Be careful what you wish for because you just might get it. When I grow up, is that what it's called? That song is so dope, actually. I feel like low-key, they do not make pop music the way that they used to. I feel like me saying that is also really cringe. But like, when I grow up, that song is so good. No, it's not even called that. No, it is. It's totally called that. Who remembers the song, bro? This was lit. When I grow up, I want to have groupies. I want to. What do they want to do? I want to be famous. I want to be in movies. Yeah. And then they say, be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. That's my monkey's paw. I loved that song when I was a kid, and I still do. Not much has changed. It's the same story. It's the same story. All right, so anyways, besides just trying to force Fetch / Barbenheimer to happen to him, Milo was also leaning into this pity marketing that a lot of people found really, really off-putting, right? So because he was releasing the book independently, he decided to launch a Kickstarter, which is fine. What is maybe a little bit less fine is making a bunch of content where you're like crying and telling people like, if my Kickstarter isn't funded, my dreams are going to be dashed, and just trying. That is not really the best angle to try to get people to give you money, right? Let's see. He was also constantly complaining at this time that like TikTok is doing this to me. I'm on the brink of failing to publish my 10-year writing project that has taken so much of my soul and spirit, and suddenly I'm there again. I have 26 days left, and every day it's breaking me to watch my videos fail one after another when I was once admired on this app. I lost my voice to a literary agency who kept my book in revision and caused me to lose my audience by dropping me 3 years later. Milo. This is not, I guess, just like a blind defense of literary agents, because not all agents are good. But let me tell you right now, my guy, they were trying to fix your book. They were trying to save you from yourself. I don't know. That book needed a lot more than 3 years of review. It's his agent's fault, right? It's TikTok's fault. It's essentially your fault for not watching his content, not subscribing to the Kickstarter. Do you subscribe to a Kickstarter? No. YouTube has ruined my vernacular. Not supporting the Kickstarter, etc., etc., etc. This was starting to rub people the wrong way, right? And I feel like it's pretty obvious why. Someone said, Milo, please log off. This isn't good. No. I really do think like the more feedback he was getting of like, hey, maybe like this is not the best way of presenting yourself or whatever, he started leaning into it harder and harder. And that is literally a recipe for disaster. Okay, hold on. Viewing my sources. And then it also doesn't really help that like, even amidst things that I do definitely have empathy for, he's just a very grandiose person. Now granted, I am also a very grandiose person. But I think when you're sitting and crying and saying things like this, it's just kind of not coming across the way you want it to.
My name is...
Sorry.
Okay. I probably shouldn't be recording this, but I need to put it into perspective. For some people, I think it's important to see both the good and the bad of talent.
Sorry. Okay, look. I don't think it's funny to laugh at people who are crying. I promise you I don't think it's funny. As someone who's cried on the internet and knows how bad things have to get for you to cry on the internet, I don't think crying is funny. I just think it's objectively hilarious to cry on the internet and be like, you guys just don't understand how difficult it is to be this talented. That's funny. That is actually hilarious.
My name is Audrey.
Okay, wait, hold on. So anyway.
My world became my outlet. My characters became my voice.
This was the part that I don't think is funny. I don't think it's hilarious to have a dream that you're sticking to for years at a time, right? And then kind of feel like you maybe had a path to success, but the rug was pulled out from under you, etc. So please allow me the little bit of grace of multiple things can be true here. I have some empathy for this scenario, but like, it is very clear to me in retrospect why this was not working for people, dare I say.
I probably shouldn't be.
Y'all are saying that y'all can't hear? Bro, it ain't me. That ain't my fault. Hold on. Who here can't hear? I mean, like, the stream. Who can't hear the stream? It was about to sound like I was just going to start dunking on deaf people. It's not my fault. It's you. Did y'all refresh? Is it working? Someone said people are saying their audio never even cut out. I mean, it's not your fault either. Obviously, it's YouTube. It's YouTube's fault. Okay, I'm glad you are back. Thank you for telling me, though. Thank you for telling me. Thank you. Because, like, look, my worst nightmare is I'm over here, like, yapping, and nobody's even... I'm just making bad content. No one's even hearing what I'm saying. Okay, everyone can hear me. Great. For those of you who missed, I was just playing a video of him crying and saying that we don't know what it's like to be talented, essentially, which I think is a poor packaging of his larger point, which I do think makes sense, which is that it's just really crushing to work on a goal like this and then feel like you're not achieving your dreams because TikTok is shadow banning you and your agent was an op, etc., etc., etc.
Recording the student and a tour guide. Don't make it. I have to put it aside and work on the rest of the series and go back into silence.
Sorry, it's not edited content, so
it's tough, guys. It's not easy being a writer, and
I agree.
This is some of the worst pain that I have been in my life.
So we've got that again. Being in pain, not funny, not my point. But when you do start to have, I think this is kind of also where the mastery thing was picking up, and people really latched on to the fact that Milo was presenting himself as like a master. Someone said everyone talking about the audio has never seen a tree. No, what? It's not their fault. It's not their fault. Someone said, why is there so much bragging in the TikToks? You have literally just predicted my next point. You predicted my next point. Okay, hold on a second. Beep, 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 beep. So note that even in this pity marketing thing right here, I pressed the wrong button. In this one TikTok where he's telling us he only has 24 days left to publish his book, the description says, I didn't reach 10,000 hours of mastery to fall to my voice being silenced. To all those who told me to pick up my crown, I'm about to fight harder now than I ever have before. Thank you. Milo is in his early 20s and has never published a novel. So I feel like understandably, people started talking about like, okay, hold on a second. What mastery are we referring to? We were excited to support your debut novel, but this is starting to come across as a little strange, a little odd. And Milo obviously had an explanation for that. He has an explanation for everything. I do have to give him points. Like, you know what? Live your truth, King, for sure. But like... Oh my God. Okay, hold on. So someone on TikTok says, no one is discrediting the work you did, but it's crazy for you to count ages before 16 or 17. In other words, saying like, we just need some sources. A source, please.
Hello, my name is Audra Winter. I'm a 22-year-old author who has been working on my series in my world for 10 years, and we're going to talk about this today. We're also going to talk about Malcolm Gladwell's theory of 10,000 hours to mastery.
I wish we were not talking about Malcolm Gladwell's theory of 10,000 hours to mastery. Because let me tell you something right now. That is literally just a random number. Okay. Now, hold on. Because I feel like maybe someone in chat is going to clock me. Or maybe I'm spreading misinformation or I'm doing the pseudoscience. I'm sure Malcolm Gladwell does have some sort of like credentials, right? Canadian journalist and author. No, if he is the guy behind the 10,000 hours of mastery thing, I actually have a bone to pick with him. Because I'm like, what? Where did you get this number? I know he has a methodology. I know he has a methodology for it. I find it to be really funny. Anyways, kind of getting back into this. Where was the tab that I just had open? All right. Someone said world building is not writing a story. Oh, just you wait. Oh, wait, that's the wrong tab. Here we go. 10,000 hours.
If you are not familiar what that is a theory, obviously by Malcolm Gladwell in his book Outliers. Super, super good book. I highly recommend it. I read it in high school, and I'm willing to bet some people watching this video might have also read it in high school.
This is the part where I have empathy for a 22-year-old who read a book in high school and now thinks that he is a master because Malcolm Gladwell said if you do something for 10,000 hours, then you kind of get where I'm going. I have the benefit of being a good deal older than Milo, because this is probably exactly how I sounded. When I was 22, and I'm so sorry.
Well, he's states that writing is a developed skill. It is not a natural born talent. And in order to achieve mastery, he says that one must spend 10,000 hours. I have achieved mastery according to Malcolm Gladwell's theory. For reference, I am an autistic individual and my special interest is this world. I don't write to publish. I write to develop this world that I have been working in for 10 years since I was 12 years old, with the same characters, with storylines that have branched off from one another, and every single night since I was 12 years old, I have written for at least 3 hours.
It's like, who's finna tell him that that's not writing in the traditional sense? Like, obviously, if you are spending hours and hours and hours and hours of your life writing words, then you are effectively writing. Duh. But like, Milo, you gotta work with me here. You gotta work with me here. Someone said you don't write to publish. A lot of people are clocking the I don't write to publish. It does seem like he's quite interested in publishing, because I think there's been like 2 or 3 different times where publishing has been pulled out from under him, and he's like, nah, y'all are gonna read this book, and we are gonna read the book as well. Well, we're gonna read the first 5 pages of the book that he released for us for free. But yeah, I'm not gonna linger too much on the whole mastery point, but I want to say, if you're wondering why people were just really annoyed with Milo, it's because this is the way that he talks about his craft. Now, I would like to add, I want to be real with y'all, right? I don't want to just be performative and be like, oh, this is so cringe or whatever. I mean, obviously it is a form of cringe, right? But like, I would say that I've achieved mastery in certain things of my life, like, say, making videos. You will frequently hear someone like me say, I make good videos, and I know that they're good videos. But like, I say that because I've actually published like 200 something videos over the course of how long? I don't even know. I have been constantly, continuously getting feedback and critique about my flagship product, if you will. And that has pushed me into, and I still wouldn't really describe it as mastery either. I just think I'm pretty good at the one thing that I do. If I was just making videos in a vacuum, like the way Milo was kind of writing Into the Dark, it's not the same thing. I could have made 200 videos for myself. I promise you they wouldn't have been as good as they would be if I was actually getting feedback and critique. So it's just kind of funny. Someone said, how old is he? 22 in this video. And that's why you're kind of getting this perspective. I feel like I'm old enough now to know that, like, I don't know much of anything at all. Oh my God. It died on me. This is so sad. I've had these headphones for so long. How did this even happen? Oh my gosh. No. I have to perform headphones CPR right now. Actually, screw these headphones. I got backups on backups on backups. Watch me plug this in and then these aren't going to work. Okay, wait. Hold on. Let me see if I can still hear. Let me see if I can still hear Milo's life-changing advice.
That is not an exaggeration.
Oh. I only have the left side. Wait. What? Hold on, chat. I've got to fix this. I can't be one of those people. I can't be like, oh yeah, I heard the left side of that song. It was real good. Holding on to a dream.
That is not me making.
Okay, I fixed it. Yay! Rest in peace. Someone says so bougie. I could never throw any tech. Look, y'all are not gonna call me bougie just because I'm probably gonna get rid of these headphones. They are busted. Okay, these headphones have seen better days. Let me tell you some of the things these headphones have seen. And you are going to start realizing. You know what was edited with these? Shane Dawson. I edited my Shane Dawson video on these headphones. I edited, if I'm not mistaken, like The whole beauty community series on this specific pair of headphones. Y'all are not finna sit here and say, oh my gosh, he's so bougie. He's throwing his headphones. These headphones are older than God, okay? Someone said I wore them into the ground. I did. I really did. Because they're kind of pricey. But they came apart like they were $5. Because I used those pricey headphones until they started acting like $5 headphones. So that's all I'm saying. Those were I edited my Shane Dawson headphones. All right. Anyways.
I go to sleep at night.
Okay. Oh, sorry. I've heard enough about this. I've definitely heard enough of the mastery thing. So kind of shifting back into the timeline of things, right? He then cancels the Kickstarter because it wasn't getting enough coin, and he decides he's just going to not only shift to like distributing it through TikTok Shop, but also release the book early, which I think is kind of an interesting ploy, right? And look, even at this point, I can't highlight enough. People were still literally excited about it. You see people saying like, I'm so excited. Thank you for sharing your world with us. So cool, even though it's a lot of work either way. I hope this change feels like a relief. What this one person said right here, the Kickstarter seemed to stress you out so much, and it must have taken a big toll on your mental strength. This is your baby and it deserves the care you're giving it. I do agree that Milo was not handling the Kickstarter very well, but this might have, again, it could have been a happy ending, right? Switching from, this isn't even plan B though. I think at this point, Milo is on plan C, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, when I tell you, it was better than the alternative. Someone said bro should not have a platform. I don't think that hold on, wait, I like that idea. I don't necessarily think it's the case that he should not have a platform, especially because I can think of so many people who I would say should not have a platform before that. Shane Dawson. But like, I think, and I'm being for real right now. I don't know if, I don't want to say the average person who has not handled any sort of level of virality realizes it's really difficult not to get defensive. I think the thing is, like, I usually don't make this point about the people that I'm talking about because they have chosen the life that they're living, if you will. Like Iggy Azalea, for example, in my Iggy Azalea video, obviously handled the criticism of the things she was doing really poorly. I don't really have a lot of sympathy, empathy, etc. in my heart for someone like that because I'm just like, bro, we've been trying to tell you this is not it. And you are the one who is telling us, yeah, I'm going to keep terrorizing you by releasing music, this, that, the other. I think TikTok has made it much, much, much easier for people who would be so much happier had they never seen a lick of attention on the internet to have a platform. And so it's not that I don't think Milo, he's someone who should be able to get an audience. I don't think you should be able to get 100,000 followers in 3 months when you're not prepared to handle it. That's mostly the thing. I think using TikTok as a tool to promote yourself and the thing that you care a lot about, he could have been a really great model for that. He really could have, but just like when you do have people constantly saying things about you or taking like individual little issues with things that you're saying, it gets really hard to not get in your head about it. And that's kind of what this is a case study of. And that's also why I wanted to talk about this. Because again, things that read as me making excuses or whatever for most people, I don't think it's useful information to include that in a video, right? If I'm talking about Iggy Azalea and I'm also making a bunch of excuses and being like, oh, but we should have empathy, that's going to come across as crazy when the things Iggy Azalea was doing were racist, right? In this case, I would like to tell you I actually have quite a bit of nuance, care, both sides. Now, granted, there are still things that Milo has done, which we will get into, that are just not okay and that he doesn't need to get called out on. But yeah, no, I like this topic a lot. Someone said that this was their comfort drama, which is a really funny way of putting it. That's not what I would say necessarily, but I think this is a great thing to talk about. It's kind of a nice litmus test. Someone said some cringe to growth character arcs are better off happening in isolation. Yeah, exactly. The average person should not be able to accrue 100,000 followers in 3 months because they had a good idea on TikTok. I don't think that's great. Someone said first live I've managed to catch. What are we talking about? Chad, do you think I can sum this up in 30 seconds before jumping back into it? Because I don't want to derail, but we are kind of at the halfway point. Hold on. I'm gonna set a 30-second timer and see if I can sum this up. This is so stupid. Okay, this is good content. All right. If you're new, this is the only do-over you're gonna get. 1, 2, 3, go. We're talking about somebody named Milo Winter who published a book called The Age of Scorpius that people were very deeply unhappy with for many reasons, which I have not gotten to yet. Thus far, we've talked about how Milo has been trying to publish this book for years, actually. It's something he's been writing since he was 12. And he lucked into getting an agent due to going sort of viral somewhat on TikTok. But then the more popularity he got, he handled it really poorly because he's not great at taking criticism. And then he got dropped by his agent. But now he's deciding to publish the novel himself, and we're in 2025. Decent. Fine. Somewhat okay. You're not getting anything more than that. I think that was a pretty fire explanation personally, for someone on the spot. Y'all put me on the spot, but I tried to hook you up. That's all you're finna get. That's all y'all finna get. Someone says shorts in the making. Oh my gosh. No, I don't want to do shorts because I'm so long-winded. Ugh, I have an anti-shorts personality for sure. So I did that. Yes, I did that. Period. All right. So anyways, getting back into it. So I will say it wasn't just a case of Milo releasing the book, right? He started really kind of turning it into a whole thing, TM, right? So he started collaborating. Oh my gosh, sorry. He started collaborating with a bunch of artists, which I think is great. I love the idea of collaborating with artists and not doing AI. And he turned the world of Guardian into a whole world, right? Let's see what else I've got. And then sort of the shift to TikTok Shop, which, by the way, I did kind of know that you could sell things through TikTok, but I did not realize you could actually sell a whole book through TikTok. Like, what do you mean? All right. So anyways, what is this? RW Flame Small Space Heater for Indoor Use Electric Ceramic Space Heater. What would I have actually clicked to make this happen on my screen right now? Why is it saying it's $1? Oh, it's over here on the side. Okay. Well, I'm trying to think of how to say this without sounding like I'm being overly dramatic, because all that happened was I accidentally clicked an ad. We have gone backwards in terms of web design. Okay? We have actually reverted back into a sort of spammy autoplay pop-up ad everywhere, ads moving across the screen as the web page loads and you're accidentally clicking into things, and it just seems to be like, what actually happened to web design being somewhat not horrendous? Why has my biggest op this entire live stream been just trying to use TikTok on desktop? Some of y'all are finna victim blame and say you clicked the ad, D'Angelo. Yeah, but at what cost? I didn't do it on purpose. I don't want somebody to sell me a $1 space heater, which, by the way, I promise you, either this is not actually $1 or this is like the most unethically sourced space heater that you could think of. Y'all want to sell me something for $1 because y'all paid people less than $1 to make it? And you think I'm going to be like, oh my gosh, deal. Miss me. Someone said it's got to be malicious design at this point. It feels like it. Okay, Chad, let me ask you this. Be honest. How many times have you misclicked something because a web page randomly reassembles itself? It reconfigures before you can actually click into what you were trying to click into. Dude, that happens to me a lot. I feel like when I was a kid, I had a string from being like 12 years old, maybe all the way up through my college years, where I never clicked an ad. My mama told me, don't click those ads. She said, don't click into them. It's not good. She said, even if you see something in an ad that you want, just search for it yourself, right? I click on so many ads nowadays. I accidentally. And I don't think it's because I have gotten worse at using a mouse. I think it's because websites have gotten worse. But anyways. Someone said it hides the X button. They do. It's so hard to get rid of ads nowadays. It's ridiculous. And I say that as a YouTuber. Uh-oh. Anyways. So here we have Milo, and he's saying, just an author who worked on the series for 10 years, finally seeing a pre-order listing appear on my TikTok shop at 10 p.m., right? Things are starting to pick up. You have him saying, oh, I just sold 40 signed copies of my book in 3 days before I even did a cover reveal, right? Things are starting to pick up. Let's see. Now, granted, one thing that I think is pretty important to point out, the way Milo was doing these pre-orders, I wasn't there for the actual pre-order, so I'm going off of other people's information here, but from what I've seen, people are saying that he was marking the orders fulfilled without actually shipping the books out. Here. We're not going to watch this whole thing, just the very beginning.
PSA for readers. If a seller marks your pre-order as fulfilled after mailing you a 50-cent bookmark, but the actual book won't ship for 7 months, that's not just sketchy. It can be fraud.
That's not great. And so earlier, when I was like, oh, hey, wait, there are some things that I do think Milo definitely needs criticism for. That to me doesn't necessarily read as like trying to scam people, but it is scamming people. You can't say that the order is fulfilled just because you order something, get a free bookmark, ship the bookmark out, and Milo, please, for the love of God, do some research. You could get in serious trouble for this kind of thing. Now, granted, the main reason I'm saying like, I'm not saying this is reading as trying to scam people is because I didn't necessarily see people not getting their books. I do still think people got what they wanted, but I'm just like, Milo, come on now. You're making it difficult. Anyways, the book itself, I guess due to the pre-order scenario or the artist that he was teaming up with, started turning into... Someone said, selling without delivering. I can do that. See y'all in a future video. No. I would be so disappointed if any of y'all wound up in one of my videos. Don't scam people. Don't do it. Anyways, so the book turned into not just a book, but limited edition pre-orders, right? With sprayed edges and in-page illustrations, etc. It seemed like despite the ups and downs, his dream was finally coming true, right? What else do I have for that one? But not only was he an author at this point and a master writer, he was also a 6-figure business owner. He was very happy to tell us.
I am the creator of the world of Guardian, which is a Zodiac-based fantasy world, and the author of a book called The Age of Scorpius, which is the first book that takes place in that world. And I am now a 6-figure business owner of a digital creative studio. I made a really interesting choice as an author, and that choice was to sell pre-order copies of my book here on the TikTok shop. And I ended up breaking records and selling 4,700 of them. It would actually be more than that because I now have to limit them to 50 per day because I need to be able to keep up with the bookmarks that I'm shipping out with them. And on top of that,
innovator, icon, king. So, I mean, it's like, you ever go to somebody's Wikipedia, like a historical figure, and you just think like, oh, they're this one thing. But then you see they have like these 50,000 titles that go after that. I feel like that's kind of what's happening with Milo here, where it has gone from, hey, I'm Milo. I wrote a book when I was 12 and I care a lot about you all reading it because I'm talking about some things that are important to me, to like, hey, I'm Milo Winter, you know, writing master, 10,000 hours, Malcolm Gladwell certified, $100,000 business owner, first to ever break those records on the TikTok. Now, if you do all of these things, all I'm saying is you better have written a sequel to the Bible. Okay? All I'm saying is people better crack this book open and be like, wow, This is literally The Winds of Winter by George R.R. Martin. How did you write that at age 22? This is insane. You finished Game of Thrones by yourself. That is the level, I feel like, of writing skill that you would have to back up the way that he was selling this book online. Someone says, so is the book good or not? Wow. People asked him this, and Milo's answer was, I have it right here in the comments. Someone said, imagine, oh, you can't see it right now because it's being covered. Someone said, imagine if the books all suck. And Milo said, I've been developing a perfect introduction to my world for 10 years. I work with the developmental editor who published The Hunger Games, a copy editor with 30 plus years of experience at Big 5 publishers, and I know I did something right because most of the folks on my team came into the position with very little knowledge of the story, and they all love it. So for those of you saying, well, what if the book isn't good? Sit down. Sit down. Did you ever break TikTok shop records off of bookmarks? Probably not. Malcolm Gladwell probably doesn't even know who you are. So that was kind of how that was kind of how Milo was reacting to what I feel like was a very understandable question of like, bro, what if the book isn't good? And therefore, he released the first few pages. They're just not very good, chat. It does definitely suck to look at somebody's art project and be like, oh, this is bad, but you're going to see what I mean as I read through some of these pages. All right, so
Guardian, which is a Zodiac-based fantasy world that
all right. I think we've heard enough about the world of Guardian at this point, Milo. Okay, so y'all are not going to be able to see this very well. Hold on, wait. Actually, I might have a source where somebody has these a little bit bigger. Let me find that for you because I feel like it's real hard to read. Some of y'all are on your phones right now. You're on your phones and you're like, I can't see this. Bro, I can barely see this. My vision's already awful and I don't want it to get worse. Hold on a second. Here we go. I found it. Nope. I pressed the wrong button. It's this. Okay, cool. Thank you, Kim Yoon Mi, author, for talking about this and also collecting these pages for us. Goat. All right, so let's see. All right, this is a little bit better. Someone had rewritten the history of Conviction Woods, the cursed forest I call home. Despite all the texts describing Conviction Woods as eternally inhabitable. Sorry. There were hundreds of wartime artifacts scattered amongst the forest's grounds. The records had been altered to hide the truth of Guardian's last war, a truth that allowed the woods to protect those mysteriously meant to survive beyond its boundaries. I lingered on the edge of the farthest northern reach of Conviction Woods. Before me stood a crumbled and dilapidated stone arch, old runic etched across its surface, worn away by the structure returning to the earth. A few fallen stones lay scattered across the surrounding ground, freezing into the dirt as ancient remnants conjoined with snow and soil. Beyond the arch's gaping mouth laid Assiduous's barren territory, and its occupants who didn't want me meandering on their land. It was too late for me. Okay, so I can't read this entire thing to you. Because it just goes on and on. But when I go to page 2 and then saying the arch's inscriptions must have been centuries old, I'd never in any of my studies seen the combination of Union languages on an artifact. Mixing two Union languages was almost unfathomable to modern day society. When you keep going, excuse me. And it's like deciphering the runic on the arch was my next step to decoding the true history of Conviction Woods, etc., etc., etc. It's so much lore dumping. I think that's the main issue with the first few pages of this book. It's kind of, first of all, written in circles. It's a little hard to read out loud. It doesn't flow very well. And the lore dumping, which, by the way, is not an issue that is unique to Milo in his book. A lot of fantasy novels are pretty bad about lore dumping in the very beginning. But, like, at most, this is just kind of, like, passable / mid writing. It says... Sorry, I don't want to keep reading this because I don't want it to feel like I'm just making fun of somebody's art project. I'm more broadly making the point. It's not great writing. Someone said it's so high school writer's craft because Milo is 22 or was 22 when this was happening. It is very much giving, please workshop this a little harder. It's giving, I completely understand why something like this would have been in the revision hell for multiple years at a time. Like, this isn't like a final draft of a book. You know what I mean? I also think that if Milo was sharing this and it's like, oh yeah, hey, here's like some of my writing that I did, and this is something that I'm working on, etc. But no, it was like, oh yeah, y'all have all pre-ordered my book. By the way, here's the book that you're getting. And people were not really rocking with it. I feel like it's very fair to not rock with this. So even in that TikTok where he was posting these snippets, oh, I have too many tabs open. I'm closing them all. Hold on. I can't see. Just yeet them. Yeet all of them. Let me see. Even in that TikTok where he was posting the snippets, people in the comments were a little concerned. People were concerned. I'm confused. What wartime artifacts have anything to do with the woods being inhabitable? Eternally inhabitable reads oddly because inhabitable means livable, but the context suggests it was supposed to be uninhabitable or cursed. I would have to agree with that. The phrase eternally inhabitable threw me. Did he mean uninhabitable? I love the chapter art. Sorry. Listen, I love it. I love encountering random people just being like positive, because I'm being so serious. It's nice to remember that, like, even when things maybe aren't my cup of tea, somebody somewhere is still living. So thank you for that one, random TikToker. But yeah, no, like, so it's not barren territory being used in two sentences back to back. I mean, one could argue it was for emphasis. What kind of criticism are you open to, etc., etc., etc.? It was just kind of rough, buddy. I think that's my non-literary, not academic synopsis of why this is not good writing, because it doesn't hit. It doesn't hit. Someone said, is it just me or is starting with exposition? Wait, I missed your comment. Oh, is it just me or is starting with exposition not great? Okay, hold on. Small digression, because I do be reading these fantasy novels as well. Welcome to D'Angelo's writing workshop, where I did not go to school for writing and I don't actually have any qualifications. But if Malcolm Gladwell can tell all of us that 10,000 hours are needed for mastery, then I can sit here and spread anything I want without double checking or fact checking it, right? My advice to all of you fantasy writers, you people writing your fantasy novels, I need y'all to remember that I don't actually care about your characters as much as you do until you make me care about them. And I feel like that is why starting with exposition is never a good idea, or like starting with exposition too heavily, because like, bro, I be caring about characters. When I'm reading The Lord of the Rings, if you think I'm reading that book not caring what happens to my homies, my bros, I care deeply, right? However, also The Lord of the Rings is a horrible example because Tolkien over explains things so much. But anyways, I happen to care about the characters and the world that they live in, which is why I'm willing to put up with an insane level of exposition, which frankly, I still feel like Tolkien, he did have way too much in his books. When we live in an era where like so many people are publishing fantasy novels and you can go to your local bookstore, please find a local bookstore, and like pick up the latest book about some ragtag team of probably 22 something year olds who are like resisting the king or the monarchy or whatever is oppressing them and this, that, the other. When we have like this 700th reaction to like, say, Brandon Sanderson's Mistborn or whatever, you have to do a little bit more than open your book by just dumping whatever explanation you have for your world. Because I can't keep it in memory. I can't remember this fantasy, Middle Earth and Narnia and Westeros and all these other places, and also your amazing, incredible world building. I'm not saying you ain't doing a good job. I just need you to trick me into world building. I feel like that's the only time exposition is actually good, when you're doing exposition and I didn't even realize that's what it was. Some said that exposition was so vague, I had no clear imagery. Yeah, and I mean too, like, pulling back up the one source I just had. Hold on, let me go back to my history because I don't feel like actually finding it, and I don't think that's going to work out for me. Oh, I found it. Okay. To give kind of like less of a vibes-based thing, I think what's really, 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 really missing from this and a lot of books as well is a sense of sensory, I guess, grounding. You know what I mean? Sensory description in your books is really important, but I feel like a lot of people, especially in their debut books and stuff like that, they write into what I kind of call like a white space. And I feel like that's what this book is suffering from. Someone had rewritten the history of Conviction Woods, the cursed forest I call home. We're in white space right now. You might have said cursed forest, but that doesn't mean much to me because I'm not seeing trees. I'm not feeling anything under me. I'm not saying that you need to go overboard with sensory description. I'm just saying, like, especially for someone like me, and sometimes I have difficulty processing or imagining things. Stuff like this is really, really hard to read because I don't know where we are. I don't know what we're trying to do. Obviously, we get here and we're like, before me stood the crumbled and dilapidated stone arch, etc., etc., etc. But like, y'all get where I'm going. Who are you? Who are you? Please tell me. That's all. That's all I have to say. I don't want to spend the rest of the chat when I'm not really like qualified to critique anybody's writing. Because like, I also had a fantasy series when I was 12. It was based largely on Star Wars and what else? Mostly Star Wars. It was like space fantasy. I had like a whole world. Oh, it was kind of also ripping off Final Fantasy as well. And I had like OCs in this notebook that has like my artwork when I was a child. So bad. So bad. And so I do feel like if I had stuck with the same thing that I was doing when I was 12 and I had not taken 3 years of revisions worth of, feedback and stuff like that, and then I offered something to you at 22, I promise you it would read exactly like this. I think that's another point I want to make is like, I don't want to sound like I think he is uniquely bad at writing. Actually, chat, should I find some of my old artwork? Okay. Y'all have to promise not to laugh. If you laugh, I'm gonna get kind of sad. Just kidding. You can have whatever reaction you want. If any of y'all genuinely think you could hurt me at this point in my career. All right, let's see. I have this folder called Old Art. Oh, it's not good. Oh no. Oh my God. What of these pictures am I even okay with any of you seeing? Okay, hold on. Y'all want to see my OC from when I was like 13? Because she's real cool. Yeah, this is my OC from when I was like 13. I know it says 2017 right there. I didn't draw this in 2017. I did not draw this when I was 19. Don't play my face. I just took the picture in 2017. No, there she is. There she is. And what makes this really, really, really funny is that like, I mean, like, she is literally just lightning. She's literally just lightning from Final Fantasy 13, but with some braids and some melanin. And I was like, yeah, I have a whole world. I'm changing things up. I was like, y'all ain't never seen black people in a fantasy like this. I was really living. I was doing the most. She had like a whole team of people too. It wasn't just her. I'm looking at some of the rest of this artwork and I'm like, okay, hold on. I need y'all to work with me. So I thought I was subversive when I was younger. I had the blonde, blue-eyed warrior knight, but what I was thinking was, I was like, what if he wasn't the main character? I was 12, 13, 14. I think I drew these when I was like 13. And I was like, what if we had a series where you did have this sort of fantasy character that you see in a lot of places, but instead I had the black woman as the main character. I think that would be dope. I think that would be lit. You could center a different perspective. See, and if this isn't telling you, by the way, why I still think representation is really important, because these are the links that you will go to when you were a kid and you feel like you're never ever seeing anything anywhere for you ever, or you feel like people keep trying to create worlds in which you don't exist. You're going to start doing things and trying to create your own worlds, etc., etc., etc. So you know what? I'm being really open and honest with you here. That's actually really scary to share that horrible anime Final Fantasy ripoff artwork. That being said, because this may be the first time some of y'all are seeing anything that I've ever drawn, I definitely feel the need to very insecurely show y'all some of my later artwork. Hold on a second. I'm gonna pull some of this stuff up right now. I'm really not finna let y'all sit here and tell me this can't be the last impression you have of me. I won't allow it to happen. I won't allow it. Hold on. Okay, wait. I like this one. Oh, it's not working. Hold on, wait. Well, never mind, because it just doesn't want to load. So now you're just going to have to take my word for it that I got a little bit better at drawing. Wait, I'm getting pissed off. Hold on, let me try like downloading this. Why is it 25 megabytes? That's not even that big. I'm getting scammed here. Okay, so like, I got better at drawing, right? I started doing like environmental stuff. Oh, now it wants to load. I started doing like character artwork, you know, I learned color theory. I kept drawing lit black people in fantasy scenarios for shiz, but like, I actually think I was a fairly decent artist before I gave up on art forever. I think my digital paintings and stuff were pretty cool because I really did keep up with it. But do you know why? Do you all want to know how I went from like A to B like that? How did I go from lightning knockoff Final Fantasy? Hold on, wait. I feel like y'all need to see the actual like before and after because it's literally insane. It's actually insane. Hold on. My files. It's hard looking at things on your personal computer on a stream because I'm like, not everything here are things that I want people seeing all over the place. 20. Wait, where did my old artwork go? Oh, I found you. Okay, I brought it back. Ain't nothing harder than finding a page that you already had open, right? Yeah, no, if y'all want to know, like, wow, how did he go from this to this? Because I got feedback. Okay? Because when I was a child, I posted a lot of this online. I posted artwork on this website called DeviantArt. Someone said I should redraw her. Oh, I did. I redesigned her for sure. Y'all want to see that too? Hold on. I was like, girl, I have to do you justice. You're so cool, but you look so wonky. You deserve better than my horrible drawing of you. Hold on, let me see if I can find the redesign because it was actually pretty good. It was actually pretty great. I didn't really like finish it in the traditional sense. Hold on, wait. Sorry, it takes me a little while because I have a lot of artwork on my computer because I was drawing so much. I just never stopped. It's like, bro, this guy will not stop drawing. All right, hold on. Maybe I can't find the redesign. Oh, here we go. Okay, no, I found her. Okay. I started pushing her into like more of this direction. I felt like that was a little bit cooler. Now, granted, I still totally abandoned this project, but I was like, you know what? I like the braids. I like the general aesthetic, but instead of just taking Lightning from Final Fantasy, what if I gave her more of a theme, right? So she had like this kind of sunflower thing. She could make plants grow and she would just beat the actual crap out of the bad guys with this big shovel. Because I was like, that's really fun. So I redesigned her, but that was several years ago. I would probably redesign her again if I wanted to. But yeah, no, she looks really dope, actually. I held on to my dreams when I was a kid. To me, that's the thing. To me, all of these characters are still alive, even though I'm like 27 now and I don't draw anymore as much as I used to. And that is why I have empathy for Milo. That's why, even though he was technically kind of scamming people with the bookmarks, even though that just seemed like really bad business to me, even though he was not taking criticism very well, and even though he was really hyping himself up on the basis of writing that actually wasn't really that good, I do still totally have empathy for somebody who was like, hey, I'm autistic and I worked on something since I was 12. And this is my special interest. This is my hyperfixation, and it means a lot to me in ways that I can't explain. And sometimes I sound really grating when I talk about it. Here offers you everything, because like I am literally that kid. I just present it in a different way. The thing is, like, I'm not autistic, right? But I do have ADHD. I really, 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 really do. And I think about my stuff the same way. Right now, my special interest, or the one I can never let go of, is definitely video content, right? But like, or what's one of my special interests? That's why I just think that this is a rough story. It's rough. It's rough. Someone said, I love how inconsequential this topic is compared to some of the others. Same. Yeah, I don't know if you were here, but that's why I had my disclaimer in the beginning where I talked about Elon Musk. And I was like, we ain't talking about the Elon Musk here. We're talking about somebody who made bad choices. And because of that, someone said, what's our queen's name? I had a name for her. I had a name for her when I was younger, but it was really stupid, and I'm not going to share it because it already took a lot out of me to share my bad artwork. But maybe we can come up with another name for her at some point. Someone said, yeah, let's all have our childhood/youth art critiqued by thousands of strangers online. That's why I'm doing it. Listen, well, who am I snapping at? Anyways. If you just want to make a video about Milo Winter and you're like, yeah, this guy, he's like lame or whatever, haha, look at his artwork, it's bad, and you're not an artist, that's fine. You don't got to be a chef to know when food is not hitting, right? However, I just thought it would be a much more interesting video. I thought it would be a more interesting stream if I was a little bit more honest with you. And I was like, you know what? I feel like I understand where Milo's coming from. I think he just came from it wrong. In a way that wasn't good. Does that make sense? Someone said hydration check. Bro, I'm always drinking water. My goal is to finish this every single... Look at the... Okay, the dent is crazy. Hold on, once again, I'm not gonna let y'all call me bougie. Look how messed up my water bottle is. Do y'all want to know why my water bottle is dented? Do you actually want to know why it's dented? Because I tried to use it as a foam roller. My hamstrings were really, really like sore and my water bottle was empty. And I was like, this is cylindrical. I'm just going to like use this as a foam roller to try to, I don't even really know what you're supposed to do with foam rollers. But yeah, I put like my full weight on the water bottle, just thinking like, this is going to make my hamstrings feel better. And then it just crunched. And I was like, oh, okay. So even though hydro flasks are very durable, apparently they don't support the weight of a fully grown man. Not a fully grown man my size. So yeah, don't use your hydro flask as a foam roller because it's probably going to get dented. And then people are going to think you dropped it, but actually you just sat on it. And let me tell you, that was an ego check. Just kind of like putting your leg on a water bottle and then it bent. And I was like, dude, I need to lose some weight. And I'm going to be honest with y'all, I did lose some after that. I ain't saying, listen, I'm not saying you need to change your weight or this, that, the other. I'm just saying getting checked by a water bottle was crazy. Because I was like, what do you mean it bent? It pissed me off so bad. But yeah, I had totally forgotten about that until I saw it like that. It was messed up. Someone said I would just tell people I dropped it. I do. You're a stranger. I mean, you're all strangers as well, but you're someone who's completely unfamiliar with me and my ways. I would just tell a stranger, oh yeah, I dropped it. But I'll tell y'all, no, I actually sat on my water bottle and it bent. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Anyways, Anyways, getting back into the Milo story. Let me close out all my old art tabs. I don't have no more old art to show y'all. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh wait, hold on. I'm looking at a picture right now. I'm not going to show it to you, but she also had a darker version. Like her clothes would turn like dark and she would have evil power, because that was the thing that was special about my fantasy world. You probably have never heard this in a fantasy world ever in your entire life. But when I was 12, I came up with the idea that in my world, there was like light power and dark power, but my MC could wield both of it. I was like, no one has ever done this before. No one has ever had a main character that can inextricably use multiple forms of magic that you're only supposed to have one of. This is so original. This is so unique. So yeah, I also had a dark version of her where she would go around and like use her dark powers and stuff. And they're like, you guys stop using your dark powers. Like, it's not good. It was crazy. It was crazy. And that's the last thing I'm going to say about my fantasy world from when I was 12. And that's why when I'm over here reading stuff like, someone had rewritten the history of Conviction Woods, the cursed forest I call home. I get it. Anyways, moving on. So the book is released and people say it's pretty bad. Someone said Avatar ripoff. Bro, everything ripoff. I feel like being an artist is just getting better at masking your inspirations, because I still steal things. Like, if y'all like anything that I've ever created, it's probably heavily based on something else. But I have enough of a personality now to try to inject my, I don't know, vibe into whatever I'm putting out. That way it still feels like something I made. But when you're 12 or even 22 and have never actually gotten good critique on your work, it's kind of harder to do that. It's kind of harder to do that. Anyways, going back for a second to the Goodreads page, I do kind of want to get into some of these reviews. And again, like BookTube, they were already on this. This is the part where I have to, someone said art's 100% inspiration. It really is. This is the part where I have to concede, okay? Because listen, like I said, I am a master. I have mastery of commentary essays or whatever. Essays? I don't even write essays anymore. I don't have masteries on book reviews, right? But Goodreads got me. So unfortunately, the vast majority of these are 1 star, which is unfortunate. But I say unfortunately, which is unfortunate. Why am I so repetitive? That's why I'm so glad I have the chance to edit my videos. Y'all know, if y'all have ever wondered, what is he doing when he edits a video? What is D'Angelo's sort of like MO? I cut out the parts where I'm repeating myself without realizing. I cut out the parts where I'm talking about things that literally have nothing to do with anything in the video or anything that was previously mentioned. And I cut out me saying and then the video's 30 minutes long. It doesn't matter if I could live stream for 90 minutes. Like fully 90 minutes. I just cut out those 3 things. Repetitions, and digressions. 33-minute commentary video. Flawless, on point. It's so funny. But I feel like it's a good thing though. Because if I got through this topic in 30 minutes, this wouldn't even be a fun stream, you know? Someone said Goodreads reviews can't be trusted. The culture values snark over good faith criticism. I agree with you for sure. However, I definitely think there is still good faith criticism. It's not just people saying like, oh, Milo sucks and he's annoying, so this book, I'm giving it a 1 star. You have things saying like, it's poorly written, poorly developed, and poorly edited. The author misspelled his own made up words, right? The characters are irksome, flat, and flawless with the exception of this one person who's obnoxious but not as bad as the others, etc. You have people genuinely offering critique, right? I mean, like this one right here, you have Rachel saying like, oh, I'm finally allowed to review this here. Where do I even start? Obviously, that's kind of a snarky comment that gets upvoted, but like, it's actually fair coming from Rachel because she totally went in depth on the book. It's not just snark. Hold on. Reads with Rachel. Age of Scorpius. I feel like, yeah, no, bro. She had a 2-hour video about this. She was getting into it. Okay. It's not necessarily just people being snarky, but I do still agree with you. Like Goodreads as a whole, it's not going to be the only source that I take. Actually, speaking of Rachel, she was not the only person who made like a really good video about this. When I said before, like I have to hand it off to the booktubers on this one. If I just do Age of Scorpius review, right? So many people were getting into this, kind of talking about the issues that they had with it, etc., etc., etc. It's a lot deeper than the first 5 pages or 4 pages. I'm just here to tell you right now, I ain't finna read more than the first 4 or 5 pages just to tell y'all this book is not good. I could have told y'all that. I could have told y'all that from the first page. I could have told y'all that from page 1, baby. Someone said, I honestly think Milo should have had this book written in the drafts and started another book because I can see this being his baby and being super attached to it to receive criticism. I agree. I strongly agree with that, actually. I do think that, like, this isn't a case of him needing to, like, scrap anything or, like, you know, this, that, the other. I feel like what would be much more beneficial for your supposed mastery or whatever, put your effort into something else. Something that is easier to not, or to let go of, or to see talked about in a way that is kind of objective as compared to your, like, as opposed to your subjective feelings on it. I think that would have gone a long way. Actually, I think for most people, the book that you are the most attached to is probably not the first one you should release. Someone said Milo should have let himself cook a bit more. Yes, I'm an advocate for the cooking. A lot of writers have trunk novels. Yeah. What happened? I saw a comment. Now I'm plagiarizing because I don't remember where I read this. I read a lot of discourse before I make these streams. But someone had said, what happened? It might have been on Reddit. What happened to the idea of a trunk novel? Right? This idea that you should definitely just be writing things and then just kind of putting them aside because you're a little too close to it. Someone said it's the case of marketing over substance. Yeah. You don't want things to be overhyped, because then when things are overhyped, people come down really, really hard on it. That's the thing. If you're just kind of like, oh, hey, I wrote a book and I tried to write a book and I did my best and I self-published it and I think it's good. Here, please read and have fun. I don't think that the backlash would have been this, right? People getting 300,000 views, 500,000 views, honestly combined millions of views talking about your book because you pissed people off that much because you were hyping it up too much. It's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. Someone said, why is the book so famous? It's literally off of the strength or off of the mismatch between how it was presented and then it eventually coming out and being what it is. And people just found it fascinating, which is why I'm talking about it. Which is why I'm talking about it right now. High expectations lead to disappointment most of the time. Exactly. I mean, that's why, low key, that's why on this channel right here, where we have fun, I do mostly just try to say, hey, these are like fun commentary videos and stuff, but it's also literally just me going through an outline. Like, I can whip up a good video. I definitely have times where I'm like, oh yeah, Caroline Calloway, that video comes to mind because Caroline Calloway is an interesting contrast for this topic, because I feel like Caroline Calloway is what happens when you have the opposite problem, where I feel like she's not a bad writer, but anyways, I don't want to sit here and talk about that because I talked about Caroline Calloway for 2.5 hours one time, and that is a video I'm comfortable hyping up and being like, listen, y'all need to sit down and watch this. It's a really great video. It's amazing. This is probably the video about Caroline Calloway on YouTube. I don't think there are other ones that are this good, etc., etc., etc. The vast majority of my content, I'm mostly just like, hey, I think it's good and fun, but I don't want y'all to think I'm out here painting the Sistine Chapel live on YouTube. It's not good. Someone said Caroline Calloway is a great segue. Nah, bro. Oh my gosh. I think when I made that Caroline Calloway video, I wasn't being very like active online. I was putting out content, but I don't think I was talking to y'all about any of the content I was making. It was so nightmarish. Having to go through that alone. Like, if I was to talk about her right now on a live stream, even though that would probably take 6 hours, I don't think I would feel as bad as I did making that video. But it was literally just me in a dark room. It wasn't dark. I don't know why I'm making this sound more dramatic than it was. It was me in a cursed forest, like Milo's main character, just reviewing all of this stuff by myself. It was so... Do you know how much footage you have to review of somebody to get 2.5 hours worth of stuff? I think, if I remember correctly in that video, I said I've reviewed like, was it 8 or 9 hours of footage? It was a mess, dude. It was a mess. Someone said I've watched your video on her like 5 times. Thank you. You should. I'm confident hyping something like that up. But yeah, no, the vast majority of things, you should just be like, hey, I made a video. Hey, I'm going live on Thursday. You should catch. I think that's my outro right now. I say I'm going live on Thursday or whatever. I hope to see you there. But if not, it doesn't really matter. Someone said, does she still owe you money? I never opened this. I got it a long time ago, to Caroline's credit. It wasn't immediately after my video came out. I will say there was still a really long wait. But I did get Scammer by Caroline Calloway. Caroline Calloway no longer owes me money. She doesn't. It feels crazy to see you're getting the conclusion like 2 years later or something like that. No, we're good. We're squared away. Thank you, Caroline, for sending me the book that I paid for. Yeah, no, this is the book. I mean, of course, like I said in that video, I just obtained another copy of the book a different way because I still had to read it for the video. But yeah, no, I've got Scammer now, y'all. I've got Scammer. Yes, you put a bow on it and everything. So funny. So funny. So funny to me. Anyways. Someone said, I love your content, and Caroline Calloway. I mean, I would also put Caroline in the same boat. Maybe not the same boat as Milo, because I do feel like there was a lot more going on with Caroline, which you obviously saw in my video. But like, not everybody I talk about is evil, man. They're not all evil, horrendous, horrific people, even if the average person has the capacity to do things that are just bad. And another thing too, like, I feel like way too much commentary is just like, I don't want to use the word virtue signaling because I feel like it's a really annoying word. But it definitely is kind of presented as like, I would never do that. Or, you know what I mean? Oh, we're all going to collectively like dunk on this person because they made this mistake. Yeah, obviously. That's the point of a lot of commentary and critique and stuff like that. But like, man, have I really blown it with some of the things that I've done online. Just entire videos that I've uploaded that were just bad. You could definitely do like a commentary. You could talk about that one time that I made, upload that video and it was super ableist. Remember that? Or not ableist. I don't think I was ever ableist in a video. Ageist. Or that was a really long time ago and I tried to learn from that. Or that one time I uploaded a video defending Mr. Beast. Now, I wasn't defending him after learning about the insane stuff that he was doing. Let's make that really clear. This was before all the really heinous stuff started popping off. I just made a video lightly being like, oh yeah, Mr. Beast, like, I don't know, isn't it just game show content? Like, it's not that serious or whatever. Horribly misinformed video, and honestly a really stupid point. Yeah, no, there's been multiple times just by virtue of me having been online for as long as I have where I have not handled things very well. Now, granted, I am still much better at handling criticism than the average person. I will say that. Someone might clip this out of context and then, I don't know, put it next to a scenario where I handled criticism poorly. When y'all told me that Mr. Beast video was not it, I had to sit down and figure out why. And I had to realize, oh, I didn't, it might sound stupid to y'all, right? But I didn't think that game show content was exploitative. You're a kid, you know, watching Jeopardy and you're like watching this, you're not thinking to yourself, yeah, this is a form of exploitation and nobody should ever have to compete for money. So I'm growing up and seeing Mr. Beast do game show content stuff, and I'm just thinking to myself, isn't this the same as Jeopardy or whatever. I was uncritical, you know what I mean? Or the same thing where people told me that the video was ageist, because it was, because I uploaded an ageist video where I foolishly tried to make the point that someone was in their 30s as an actual criticism against them, which is now being 27. I actually find it really funny. Not funny because I did something that was really ugly and bad and rooted in bigotry at the time. I just think it's objectively funny that at age 22, I thought someone being in their 30s was like so old that I would have to use that as a point against them. Because now that I'm on my way and the train is showing no signs of slowing down. Yeah, but no, I had to learn like, oh, I didn't realize I was being ageist, obviously, or I wouldn't have done it. You know what I mean? So yeah, no, like you have to learn how to accept criticism. Somebody said, imagine it was signed. Caroline didn't sign it, but she did like give a bunch of freebies in here. I got a bookmark that says, I got scammed by Caroline Calloway. I kind of love it, y'all. I kind of love it. I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of amazing. Oh my gosh. So yeah, it's not signed, but I'm still happy with it. I'm very happy with it. Someone said people in their early 20s cope hard with that ish. Oh wait, do you mean like people in their early 20s being annoying about people who are in their 30s and acting like people in their 30s are older than God? Because if that's what you're saying, I agree with you. Younger people younger than me, it's such a massive blind spot. And I think it's because like I just didn't have a conception of it when I was younger. I really didn't. I didn't know what it meant to actually be 30 because I was like young. I was really, really, really young. I just thought old people had more going on. I thought that if you lived for, and the main thing that people were telling me in that video where they were like, it's kind of ageist to say, oh, you're 30, so you should know better. Granted, there's a lot of things that you should know better at your big age. Don't get it twisted. But it was more so just like the idea that you can't make a mistake because you are whatever age that you are is really, really rooted in a lack of understanding of how the age that you're referring to isn't that old. Now that I'm 27 and I still don't have my life together. Well, I mean, my life is kind of together, but I realize I don't really know much more than I did when I was 22. I just see so much of the distinction between generations as just really stupid. It's just goofy. It's cringe to me that like millennials and Gen Z are constantly on TikTok. Don't ask me how I got to this topic, but now I'm talking about it. Millennials and Gen Z on TikTok just like constantly being like, oh my gosh, that's such a millennial thing. Oh my gosh, that's such a Gen Z thing. This, that, the other. We are literally the same age. And maybe I'm just saying that because I'm 27 and I'm between the two generations. I am essentially like, I just miss being a millennial. But because I went to college in 2014, I essentially I feel too old to be part of like Gen Z or whatever. It's so forced. It's so fake. And I think we should have a little bit more solidarity as younger people talking about older people or older people talking about younger people. But anyways, that's kind of my opinion on that now. And that's something I had to grow up a lot for. I really, really had to totally change my opinion on that. Because I was definitely one of those younger people who I was like, oh my gosh, the older generation, cringe town, hop in loser, we're going cringing. Like, but now that I'm older, I'm just like, that's such a lame way of talking about somebody over something that they can't control. And more hilariously, something that's going to happen to me very shortly. I blinked. And then I was in my late 20s. It's really scary. I graduated college. I like took a breath, let it out. And now it's very, very likely that I've already passed 25% of my time breathing on this earth. Actually, Statistically, I probably have used up a third of it. Unless I stay real healthy and have great genes. 33% of that time that I was put here on this earth to be alive and entertain y'all, or whatever it is I choose to do, that's gone. And then I'm going to blink again and I'm going to be 33, turning 34. So then I'll be older than Jesus, right? And I realize I'm going to blink again and I'll be in my 40s and I still won't feel grown up all the way. So I have more empathy. Someone said 2014. Did you graduate early? High school early? Yeah, I graduated college in 2018 because I started college when I was 15. It was really annoying. Someone said you'll blink and be 42. It's wild. I believe you. I believe you. If you had told me when I was 22 that I would blink and be 40, I would never believe you. Because I would just be like, nah, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I believe it now. I understand. I really do. I hate that I had to learn that lesson just by getting older. It's a cringe way of learning a lesson, but I did what I could. Anyways, someone said having just turned 33, that hits hard. Yeah, no. Screw like these divisions between us. They're just so stupid. Let me tell you right now, there's never a reason to buy into any division when people are already so, I guess, divided. Now I'm just sounding like a stupid like Hallmark card or something. But yeah, no, like, nah, bro. I'm not a big fan of it. In 5 years, I will be 40. Yeah. As someone in their 40s, you're exactly right. I still don't believe I'm the age I am. Well, thank you for understanding where I'm coming from. I know I'm still pretty young, but I'm just trying to have more like understanding and discerning about things. I think when I was younger, I was more of a Milo. Hey, I was a Milo Winter. I definitely thought that I knew everything. Now, granted, when you click into my video and you hear me talking about, hey, I know everything about the situation because I did my research, and y'all ain't never finna find a video as entertaining as this, and that's on period. I realize like it's okay to be that way about your job, but it's not great to be that way about everything. And so now I truly understand that I don't know everything. When I was 22, I did think I knew everything, but I thought I didn't know. That was the thing. People, when I was a teenager, were constantly telling me, oh, D'Angelo, you think you know everything. You think you know everything. You think you know everything. I didn't think I knew everything. However, because I was very young, it didn't occur to me that I didn't know anything at all. That's what I didn't realize. I didn't realize I didn't know anything when I was a teenager. And especially like even in my early 20s, I didn't know much about anything because I didn't have, what did I have, 4 years of experience being a legal adult? Hello? 4 years of experience isn't even enough to get you a job anymore, which is why everybody wants to become a YouTuber, and I support them in that. But yeah, no, now that I'm older and I realize like, wow, I can't believe how limited my expertise is. I can hype myself up for the things that I'm good at, but there's just the popo, man. There's so many, actually, that sounds more like an ambulance, and I support that more than the cops. There's so many just like perspectives that I don't have, and I'm even in my time on this earth never even going to be able to know most things, I guess. I don't know. So I really know nothing like Jon Snow. I'm 28 and I'm still dumb. I'm 34 and I still don't know stuff. Exactly. All right, well, with that being said, I'm pretty sure our last point here would be, how did Milo react to the criticism? I know we got like really real for a second, and I don't know why, but I'm not mad about it. I really liked that discussion. I thought it was pretty nice. But yeah, I do want to close this out before we shift to talking about other things on this stream, because I have other things to talk about on this stream. How did Milo react to the criticism? Okay, hold on. Let me get back into my outline. Let me get back into the outline. So. Cue the sad trumpets. Cue. Wait, I feel like I'm covering most of that. Oh, my artwork is still pulled up. Cue the sad trumpets. It was brought to our attention today that the ebook for The Age of Scorpius has many errors that cause its quality to be subpar in comparison to the paperback and hardcover. Okay. In my rush to release the ebook, I did not proof with the same attention and care I gave to the physical copies. I'm deeply sorry for the disappointment this oversight has caused. We've temporarily removed the ebook from sale and plan to re-release it with all art included, as well as technical improvements and fixes to its content. Milo, I want you to sit down when I tell you this. I don't think that that was the main issue. I do think if you have ebook quality assurance problems, then yeah, it's good to put out a statement for sure. However, I don't think the main issue was that there was a lack of... I think the quality issue runs a little bit deeper than which medium you were consuming the book in. You feel me? Wait, y'all are saying you can't hear? Y'all, refresh the page. Hold on. I need y'all to let me... I can't stream. I can't stream. Am I back in sync? Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Okay, people are saying they can hear me fine. Hey, look, I'm gonna do a clap test. Is that synced? Because if I need to change my stuff, I will. Okay, it seems like... All right, yay, yay. All right. Okay, I'm glad that's fixed. Whew. Wait, someone said super late though. Hold on. It's not synced? I can't tell if it's synced or not. Someone says refresh but not synced. It was like a half second delay. The video is a little delayed with the audio. Someone said you've been... One person said in all caps, you've been audible and in sync the entire time. You're not the problem. That's how I feel personally. It's really hard to believe that you're not the problem though when you have like hundreds of people in the live chat saying like, hey, something's wrong. Okay. All right. I'm gonna have to... I've been desynced for some of y'all for 20 minutes. Oh, that's so weird. That's so weird. All right, well, I'm gonna take your... As long... Chat, am I watchable? Just give me a yes, no if you think the audio is fine enough to continue. Because if so, I'm just gonna keep going. That's the main thing that's important to me. So is this a viewer's skill issue? No, it's not the viewer's fault at all. It's a broadcasting issue. Okay. Wait. I hate pulling up my own live chat. Because, or not my own live chat. I'm looking at live chat. I hate pulling up my own live streams because I feel like I get jump scared by it. But now I've got to see if I'm synced or not. I can't take your word for it. It's deeply important to me. Hold on. D'Angelo / live. Okay. Oh, it's me. I'm live. Okay. Cringe. Hold on. I don't hear anything. Wait, why do I not hear anything at all? Oh, because I don't even have it pulled up. Okay. Shh. Be quiet. Stop talking. I don't want to hear myself echoed. Okay. Oh, it's me. I'm live. Okay. Cringe. Hold on. I don't hear anything. Y'all, I'm so synced. It is literally perfectly synced. Are y'all kidding? Be quiet. Stop talking. I don't want to hear myself echoed. Okay. Oh, it's me. I'm sorry. It's your fault. It's not your fault. It's YouTube's fault, obviously. Obviously, I'm not actually blaming y'all. I'm so synced right now. All right. So y'all were saying y'all told me. Y'all, half of y'all were telling me. Half of y'all were telling me something else. So I brought myself up and fixed it. Maybe so. Maybe so. Okay, well, anyways, I'm going to get back into it. How did I even do that? Wait. Okay, if I press S on my keyboard, on my other keyboard, because I have two keyboards in front of me, it just auto goes to my starting soon screen. Wait, hold on. So is that the case for like... Ooh, I can use keyboard shortcuts to switch. So if I press P, it goes to my PC. And if I press I... Oh, that's not the right iPhone. I have two sources for my iPhone. Okay, this is not as cool as it seems. Okay, never mind. Here I was thinking I had a really cool shortcut that I could use and feel like a super hacker, but that's not the case for me. Anyways, someone said it was desynced. We're not crazy. I agree with you that it was desynced. I just don't think it was a broadcasting issue on my part. So let's get back into it. Stream ends. No! Don't speak that over me. Anyways, all this to say, Milo started kind of addressing the backlash in parts, right? So he put out this statement as well, where he said, hold on, I gotta kind of try to make this a little bit bigger if I can. This coming Monday, I'll be making a big announcement. I've been absorbing all the feedback on the Age of Scorpius, and it's become clear I missed the mark. My team and I are cooking up a way to make it right. I'm determined to make this book the best it can be. I'm going to, can I nitpick for a second? I hate making points in my videos. I feel like we're nitpicking because nitpicking is annoying. I don't think anybody should use the phrase miss the mark. That's not Milo's fault. This is just me being stupid. This is literally a pet peeve. But I feel like anytime I hear someone say, I missed the mark or we missed the mark, my mind just goes to like, this is a corporation. I can't take this language seriously, but it's not that important. That's not an important point. That's not criticism. I'm just nitpicking. My team and I are cooking up a way to make it right. I'm determined to make this book the best it can be. Until Monday, which was a long time ago, Monday last year, I'm staying offline. The situation took a huge toll on all aspects of my health, and I've only just begun to recover from the most heartbreaking humility I've ever experienced. Though receiving tough criticism is part of being an artist, I've also encountered hurtful rumors, misinformation, and occasional cruelty coming through both my public and private comments and messages. It got so severe that TikTok stepped in and placed my profile under an anti-bullying protection. Usually criticized, I would be like, okay, let's not deflect, etc., etc. However, I've seen how y'all are on that app, and actually, if somebody tells me, oh hey, people on TikTok were hating on me so bad that TikTok had to step in, I do believe them. That doesn't mean that there's not still valid criticism to be had for the Age of Scorpius or whatever, but it definitely, why does literally everything on TikTok turn into like a hate train? So I just feel so bad for them, especially since he's autistic too. He uses he and pronouns, just so you know. I pinned a message about it. But yeah, no, the hate I don't wish on anybody. I'm aware that Goodreads froze the book's page, but I haven't yet heard from them as to why. I'll update you as soon as I know more. Thank you for understanding, or thank you for your criticism, encouragement, and understanding. All of this has driven me to get back up and do it better than ever. See you soon. Again, kind of what I was getting at with the Elon Musk stuff. Definitely not worth a hate campaign over, despite the many, many, many things that are worth criticizing. Someone says because TikTok is Tumblr on steroids. Hey, as a former Tumblr person, I resent that. Just kidding. I wasn't on Tumblr that hard. And also Tumblr had its moments for sure. Tumblr had its moments. Someone said, I wish YouTube pins were larger. Hey, we're doing what we can. This is why I don't like virality. Yeah, I mean, what gets really annoying is like when things do go viral, it's hard to talk about them with nuance. I mean, I feel like I overuse the word nuance, but I actually have a point here. If I was making this video back when he was going viral and everybody was talking about this and this, that, the other, there was a lot of really heightened emotions and stuff. I feel like a lot of times it's a lot more fun to follow drama or controversy or whatever after it's already happened, because then you can kind of sort between what is actually valid criticism and what is like not. Someone said you create your own Tumblr experience, but people on there are unwell. Are you victim blaming me? Because Tumblr, no, you should victim blame me, because I was following the craziest accounts on there. Like, what was I doing? What were any of us doing on Tumblr? I don't know. And if somebody wants to make a 2.5 hour commentary video about that, I would watch it. Someone said Tumblr is very chill for me. Yeah, I'm talking about old Tumblr. I think that... Wait, someone said YouTube pins are smaller than super chats. Should I just pay myself, chat? Next time I want to... I mean... They are smaller than super chats. hold on. Pin out of the Tumblr subject. It's gotten a lot better over the years. But why can you pay money to me to have a bigger message than me actually typing something that I think is important and pinning it? I would, as a joke, just pay myself $5 so I can super chat and be like, hey, I'm trying to share information here. But I can't super chat myself because no one can super chat me. I disabled it. Someone said you need to listen to Strange Ants. Dude, Strange Ants uploads such good videos. Actually, hold on. I feel comfortable with this shout out. I usually don't do shout outs because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna shout someone out and then they're gonna reveal themselves to secretly be like crazy or whatever. All I'm saying is Taya has had a really long time to reveal as crazy, and it's never happened yet. I've been following Strange Ants on and off for such a long time. This is a treasure trove of weird internet content. If you like this stream and you're like, oh, it was really cool following this one little weird scenario, you're in for the ride of your life. Every single video on this channel is literally just something weird on the internet that happened, that definitely did happen, but when you describe it after the fact, it feels like a fever dream. It's so good. I think Strange Ants makes great content. Yay, love it. Fantastic. Anyways, and y'all gotta know, I'm real careful with my shout outs. I don't give those out. I don't pass those out. Like, what is this? Why am I miming giving money at a strip club? I don't pass out like recommendations like I'm at the strip club shooting hundreds out of money shooter, right? Money shooter, money printer, money counter, money gun? I think you are realizing I haven't ever really been to a strip club and I've never tossed hundreds at anybody, but you get my point. If I'm recommending content, it's because I think you might really enjoy it. Oh my gosh. Anyways, with that being said, if I had to rate this response, chat, I'm going to give it an understandable out of 10. I'm going to give it, and I'm not going to give it a numerical rating. I feel like this is an understandable response. I don't really think there was too much else Milo could have said. There's not much else you can do. You told everybody the book was coming. It came. No one was happy. What can you really do? However, after this, it kind of turned into a thing where... Wait, I kind of want to get into some of the comments on this page. Or on this post, rather. Because there's good comments on here. Wait. Oh, is it because I made it bigger? I can't use TikTok anymore? Oh my gosh. Ah!
My name is...
Sorry. This has to be hard to watch sometimes. Anyways, somebody said, cooking up a way to make it right. Not a book getting a post-launch update to fix it like it's a video game. I mean, that is kind of funny. Also, the way video games are rolled out with day one patches is really annoying. You know, people saying like, I really like this comment. Some of my favorite authors have put out absolute garbage books. Please don't let one poorly received book stop you in the long term. I promise it will get better if you don't give up. I agree. We just were never supposed to see it. We were never actually supposed to see the bad book. I think like every writer that you love, you could think somebody who's out here writing a sequel to, I don't know, Shakespeare. They have an Age of Scorpius in their closet. They're just hiding it from you. Anybody can publish a book, but not everybody can write one. Somebody said, it's important that you take the right lesson away from this. Listen to experts, listen to editors, and listen to beta readers. The criticism you're getting is valid, and there's no way that you haven't already heard about these issues from your editors. If you had responded to their feedback earlier in the process, this wouldn't be happening to you. He'll learn and try again. I have to agree. At one point, he really did have an agent. And for 3 years, apparently, you were getting revisions. I find it pretty difficult to believe that these revisions were listened to, because I just think it would have resulted in a better book. But what do I really know? Someone say he shouldn't have taken their money yet. That's the difficult thing. It's hard to offer people a product. Like, hold on. I don't know why I'm turning this into like a parable or whatever. But like, imagine I started dropping an album. Imagine I told y'all, yeah, I'm going to drop an album, y'all. Actually, I want y'all to pre-order the album. Because it's going to be really cool. D'Angelo Wallace, his debut, right? How many of y'all didn't know my last name? I feel like if you're a very, 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 very new follower, there's like the off chance that you might have never heard, because you might think this is my only channel. Imagine I'm telling y'all I'm finna drop Heat, the song of the summer 2026, and I'm putting all this work into it in the background because I know that people like the idea of me putting out an album as a concept. It's a cool thing to think about. And I'm telling you that I'm putting all this work into it. I'm telling you I'm working with these crazy producers. I've got the people who did sound... Sorry. I've got the people who did like sound engineering on the Beatles' Abbey Road. They came back to life and mixed and mastered my album for me. There is always going to be that small chance that the thing I'm making actually totally sucks. And so when I'm accepting money for, it's always the risk that you run when you are following like a Kickstarter or just like honestly anything you could follow. It doesn't matter whether you're an individual or like a big company. Granted, what's really rough is that when it's really big companies that are doing this to you frequently, because big companies really love taking your money for things that are not good, they don't face repercussions for it, right? If Marvel was to put out an absolute stinker of a movie, which personally I think they have, it's not really a thing where like any one person has to accept all of the criticism and feedback. If Marvel puts out a bad movie, who are you actually mad at? Hopefully no one, because it's just a movie. But it's totally fair to be mad because you paid money and you felt like you didn't get what you were paying for, which was a good movie. You're kind of mad at a bunch of people, right? I think another reason I have a bit of empathy here is because it's like, it's really, 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 really rough for people to feel like they got something bad or not what they paid for or whatever. And all of it falls on you. Some say kind of unrelated, but you're so funny. Am I funny? I would say I try, but I don't try. I just say the dumbest things that pop into my head and hope somebody interprets it as humorous as I do. Anyways, someone said they have Ant-Man and Doctor Strange were disappointing. Wait, do you mean Ant-Man Quantumania? Dude, that movie was so bad. Hold on. Put a pin in that. We're going to come back to Ant-Man Quantumania after the stream. Anyways, all this to say, I think it's important to highlight comments like this and say, not everybody was hating on Milo, right? It's a lot of comments. Someone said, I'm determined to make this book the best it can be. So are you going to edit it? Anyways, with that being said, I'm pulling up the revision timeline that he outlined. Okay, so I guess in an attempt to be forthcoming, he shared this.
Today I am coming on here to talk about a couple of pretty large updates. We are pushing the release date of the...
Hold on. How do I make... Oh, you can make a TikTok full screen. What? Why didn't of y'all tell me this? Y'all, I have had ads for $1 space heaters on the side of this video the entire time because I did not realize that you could make a TikTok full screen on desktop. Oh, don't piss me off. Okay, that is crazy. Now I know.
My name is Audra Winter. I am the creator of the World of Guardian, and today I am coming on here to talk about...
Someone called me old? Yeah, well, just you wait, Sonny. Your time's coming up.
A couple of pretty large updates. We are pushing the release date of the second edition of AOS into March. I'll explain why in a second, but we took a lot of time in the past 2 weeks with everything going on to basically put together an 8-step plan for a revision.
Milo, I don't think that's long enough. I don't think working on a book for 10 years that you started when you were 12 and getting this level of feedback where people are getting 500,000 views worth of critiques over a 2-hour period. I think you should have taken a bit more than 2 weeks, but that's just my opinion.
Process. My goal is to get through 1 chapter at least every week, 2 if I can, but we don't want to rush it. So 1 chapter is what I really feel comfortable with based on the structure that we have built. First step in this revision process is that my team has a meeting at the beginning of every week before.
This is unfortunate. It's unfortunate, y'all. This is really a misunderstanding of how good books are made. You can't just be like, oh, I wrote a book and now I'm going to take 1 week per chapter. As I don't think I'm misunderstanding him. 1 week per chapter for revisions, to get the book whipped up into. You just have to keep revising it until it's good. You literally have to keep revising it until it's good. People are asking about team and we. Oh, did you forget that he is a 100,000? What did he say? A 6-figure business owner? Yeah, that's the we. The royal we is his team that he's put together. No, dude. Like, you just have to keep going to the drawing board. I think even in this video, the reason it's just kind of irksome to watch, it sort of seems like he still missed the point. You can't speed run a novel. There's a lot of things that you can speedrun. You can totally speedrun many forms of media if you have to, but like a book, oh man.
Or I start revising the chapter. Multiple of us have.
Someone said, I thought they said their name was Audra. He's since changed his name to Milo, so I'm just using what he currently goes by. Good question though. I said it in the beginning of the video. I'll make it make sense in the edit, don't worry.
Taken feedback from across the internet from a lot of you guys, and we like to discuss the things that are happening in each chapter and what can we do to improve it. This core team is made up of about 6 to 8 people across the arts, across different mediums, and people who have already read the first version of the book at least once, if not.
All right, I gotta call him out a little bit. It's really funny that when it comes to the book itself, it's like, I did that. I have been working on this since I was 12. I put all this work into it. I've spent 10,000 hours becoming a master. I am running this business, but now that there's a lot of feedback, much of which seems to be really valid, it's deeply entertaining to me how it has now become. Actually, we are working on this book. We and my team, which is so many people, are working on this book. Y'all, that's really funny. That's really funny.
Not twice. The second step that I am taking in this revision process is essentially reverse engineering a writing process. One of my employees is my secondary developer, Solly. I actually get on a call almost every single night for about 3 hours with Solly. And what we are doing is, before I start revisions after the team meeting, we then have another brainstorming session. And this brainstorming session is me verbally describing the outline for the revised chapter that I'm doing. So going over scenes.
I'm not going to subject y'all to the rest of the video because this actually goes on for 6.5 minutes apparently. And it's just this really granular sort of approach to fixing the book, which, like, I understand entering problem solving mode, obviously, when you have a major problem, which is that people are really unhappy with something that you've done. But again, I just don't think that that's going to be conducive to a good second edition. Here, the comments once again are saying, like, you gotta just write the book. You don't need an artist to draw a scene for you to describe. You need to learn how to do that description on your own. You cannot experiment with form and artistic integration until you actually learn how to write, right? This has like 1,700 likes on this. It says, this is your book. Where is this we coming from? Why do you need a huge team? Readers, we just want a polished, coherent novel. Milo, we're adding page borders. Dear viewers, I learned nothing. So where's the developmental editor? What are a bunch of illustrators going to do, you know, for writing? And it's like, money, stay on my oh my gosh, I just randomly scrolled and it's like, I am an independent author who has sold over 6,400 copies of my debut on pre-order. Rough, buddy. Anyways, like, Do you know, listen, I try not to do too much conjecture. It's easier to talk about things that I actually know are true. I know that it's true that Milo wrote this book and people weren't happy and he responded this way. This is something that I don't know if it's true. And you can clock me if I'm wrong. I don't feel like Milo is reading a lot of books. Or if he is, I don't feel like he's reading a lot of books outside of his genre. And actually, that's like my biggest bone to pick with so many people who are into writing or the idea of becoming a writer or this, that, the other. If you read enough books that were written differently than whatever your niche interest is or whatever, you're going to see so many thousands of ways of starting a book well. And you're also going to start seeing commonalities between good beginnings. This isn't me saying that you need to chat GPT your way into like reading a bunch of books and then synthesizing it into something that you think is going to be better than what's in your heart. What I'm saying is you actually can see it's easier to express yourself when you have a framework for what has worked for people. If you can say, oh, I love this book because this aspect worked for me, and I love this book because that aspect worked for me. But you can also say, oh, I'm publishing under the genre of like, what did they say it was, like a science fantasy or whatever, science fiction fantasy. I forget exactly what he said the genre was, but like I've read these books that do well and I understand the conventions that people are sort of understanding. So if I'm not delivering that, I understand that this can come across as not good or whatever. It's so much easier to break the rules if you are consuming a lot of the thing that you're trying to put out. And again, I guess someone said, I'm reading. So Stephen King has an essay about this. It's the only thing of Stephen King I've read. Yeah, no, you have to read so much. Someone said he really does believe in the vision, but he needs the practical experience to support it. Yeah. You have to, you need a bigger library, especially too, because like, I don't feel like that's gatekeeping. I never want to say like, oh, you can't write a novel unless you have an English degree. That's cringe. Okay. First of all, if you have an English degree, that's awesome. I wish my degree was in English. It was in mass communication, which is so stupid because when have I ever communicated to like a mass of people? Why would I ever do that? But anyways, no, like I'm not advocating for gatekeeping. I'm advocating for a little bit of education, self-education, learn the ropes, get in the kitchen and watch other people cook. And then I just think you would not have such a misguided view of publishing that you think that good books are written or revised like one chapter at a time on a deadline. It doesn't make any sense. Someone said Stephen King, when he writes Carrie, gets away with it. Look, I'm not advocating for Stephen King because I've never read a Stephen King novel. I don't know anything about this man. I know some things about him, but not much. But you get what I'm saying. Okay? Someone said keep writing, keep reading, keep going. You can't workshop your way out of a lack of practical experience. Exactly. Another thing I would like to say too. This is really good advice for YouTube, but I'm going to kind of try. I promise y'all this advice works for anything. The best advice I ever heard was from a YouTuber, Roberto Blake, who said, Roberto Blake was like the OG of how to grow a YouTube channel and stuff like that. Now everybody wants to sell you a course, but this man was really out here putting good stuff out for free. And I, years and years and years ago, heard him say in a video, you have to try to make 100 bad videos. I'll let y'all know right now, I already got through my 100 bad videos. You're not getting those from me anymore because I really did that. If I spent that time that I was making 100 bad videos, making one amazing, beautiful, just fantastic video, there was a much higher chance that it would just suck. And it would come across to people as mid or like I haven't been cooking for long enough or this, that, the other. The time that he, being Milo, was spending writing this book would have been so much better served writing a collection of novels, a collection of short stories, just trying to finish things multiple times. I would give this advice to any creative. If you feel like you're stuck right now in a long-term project, put it on the shelf and go make 10 versions of that are a little less precious to you. And I promise you will learn more about the actual mechanical skill that it takes to create an art thing, because there are elements of this that go across. Someone said he should have been making multiple bad books throughout his adolescence. Yes, there are elements of art that are very similar. And one of it is like something I call scaffolding. Okay. I mean, I didn't come up with this, by the way. I am not a teacher, but I really do want to say, like, books are made out of parts. And actually, any piece of artwork is made out of parts, right? Scaffolding is just kind of knowing how to set up the initial structure of a book into something that is recognizable as good. And then you can cover the scaffolding with anything that you want. But the problem is, because the scaffolding is underneath books, you have to read a lot of them to understand it well enough for you to put it up yourself. You can't actually look at 5 buildings that all look really different and say like, oh, well, because I've seen multiple buildings, I do now understand that for a building to stand, it must have these parts. You have to look at so many more buildings, and you have to purposely be analyzing them in a way where you're seeing which parts of the building keep it from collapsing and which parts of the building make it look really cool and pretty and stuff like that. And I feel like that scaffolding, so many amateur artists, writers, musicians, etc., like, that is the main thing that they're lacking. I can crack open the first page and I will often feel like, okay, it's not giving the fundamentals. It's not giving like that basic structure that is communicating to me that you definitely know what you're doing. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Someone said foundation or skeleton. Yeah, foundation, skeleton, scaffold. It's just the bones. You got to know the what's underneath. I think V.E. Schwab has talked about this before. V.E. Schwab is someone who's much more qualified to give writing advice than me because I've never published anything. But if I'm not mistaken, I feel like V.E. Schwab has said something along the lines of, like, there's skeletons and you have to know the skeleton. Even though you're not seeing the skeleton, it's really important. And before you start putting on all the, like, I don't know what parts are on a body, because like I said, my degree was mass communication, not STEM. But you gotta go to the drawing board. Anyways, someone said making bad books is a part of learning, but it's not ideal to have those bad books become viral. Exactly. Now hold on, wait. Let me see if I had anything else. I do have a couple more sources for this. All right, so you have people kind of going bit by bit and being like, okay, Milo has rewritten chapter 1. Is it better? This is the part where I'm telling you, I'm not going to go through this because I'm just telling you right now, this revision process that he's doing is not going to work. I don't want to spend the rest of the video just being like, okay, this was everything bad that happened after the bad thing. Some say I've only read Addie LaRue, but V.E. Schwab is so good. Schwab is good not just at writing, but at like talking about writing. Because it's one thing to be good at something, but it's another thing to be able to talk about that thing in a way that makes sense to people. Oh, I realized I froze the chat. My bad. I didn't mean to stop the chat. Some of my art professor always said you have to get the gesture right before adding the details. Otherwise, it'll still be bad no matter how skilled and fancy you make it. Exactly. Just because you spent hours on the canvas doesn't make it a masterpiece. Okay, see, I feel like, why do I snap so often? I gotta sit with that. Do I need to go over this in therapy? I feel like y'all are taking the right lessons away from this video. Not like I came into this trying to teach you a lesson, by the way. Please don't take advice from me on anything. But like, when I sat down and I said, I really hope, I said to myself before the stream, I'm like, I really hope that this stream comes across the right way to people. And it's not just like, oh, hey, I think this one person on TikTok is super weird and annoying and piss people off. And I'm going to talk about that because I think it's good content. I think it's so fascinating. I think that there are literally so many important points in this story about artwork never giving up on your dreams. I think there's some aspects of what Milo is doing or has done I can completely stand behind and support. There's a lot to say here about just like trying to stick to your vision, but similarly, it's also like a huge cautionary tale about ego, about time and its benefit. I realize the chat has frozen again. And this time I don't think it's my fault. Chat, are you there? Am I live? Okay, I am live. Oh, we're back. Yay! That was so weird. Someone said, can you double snap with one hand? What? How can I do that? Double snap with one hand? So you mean like it takes me 3 fingers to snap. So how would I do that? That's insane. If you can do that, you scare me. Anyways, I have no idea. Someone said I think everyone was listening intently. Was everyone listening intently? Every single person? I'll take your word for it. I'll take your word for it. Okay. I gotta stop freaking out about like, I always feel like my stuff is freezing and I never know. But no, I'll take your word for it. What I was saying was I really hoped that when I sat down for this, it wasn't just going to be thing coming across as like, oh, I want to dunk on this person because I don't like them. I wanted to make all these interesting points about artwork because I love artwork and I love the idea of young people really going and following their dreams and stuff like that. I think if we can talk about, okay, so what happens to Milo in the future? He put out this sort of essay reflection on it, and I'm going to be honest with you. As much as I hate playing into anti-intellectualism because I don't think it's cute, I ain't reading all this. I'm sorry. Listen. In a video in which I've extolled the virtues of reading and sticking with things and being thorough and not just hating on people and trying to give them a fair shake, y'all, it just keeps going. When your response has footnotes, I'm sorry, you got to give me a little. Someone in the chat said, if you're always worried that stuff is freezing, work somewhere warmer. There's a cheap heater someone is trying to sell you. Y'all really think that you're funny? I mean, you are funny because I stopped and read that and laughed. But y'all think that y'all are just a chat full of Netflix specials? Like this is just the hee hee ha ha hour. That's what y'all think that this is? Wild. Anyways, yeah, no, I'm sorry, Milo. I'm sorry, my friend. Not finna read all this. I didn't even read it all the way the first time for the video. And listen, honesty and transparency. I think he'll be fine. Now that being said, he actually came back recently with more writing. Which is a book of poetry. All right, here we go. I found it. A dream project, Afterlife. Wait, is this the one? Make sure I'm not lying to you. Yes, Afterlife, written by Milo, right? Illustrated by so-and-so. So, you know, wait, I can't pause it. Wait, how do I just want to pause it, bro. Y'all, how do you pause a video on Threads? I'm being so serious right now. How do you pause a video on Threads? I just wanted to read a little bit of the poetry. If this is coming across as like, oh, he's doing a bit, he's being a... Is it a GIF? No, it's not a GIF. Bro, I really do feel like I can literally... Oh, okay, hold on. If I hold the bar at the bottom, the video stops playing. Now, let me ask you this right quick. Do you think I should have to hold the bar at the bottom for the video to stop playing? I don't think that that's a valid way of pausing a video, but I'm just going to do it anyway. All right, so anyways, we have some therapy here. Scarification. I am but a fleck of my becoming, layers too serried to crawl from carapace. Oh my god, stop. Threads is like, just don't read the poetry, bro. No one wants to hear this. Okay, take 2. It's hard to hold my hand still while also reading because I'm jittery. I'm a jittery kind of guy. I am but a fleck of my becoming, layers too serried to crawl from carapace before my legacy, scar my skin, for I cannot grow without your abrasion. Trust me, please. I must be split open before I can prove my heights. I mean, it says it's just about ecology. I will say, not to get too high school English essay on you, that does seem to sort of be about maybe things other than ecology. It kind of seems to generally apply to the scenario that we've just gone over for the past 2 hours, but oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Someone said, I love how social media is rage baiting, D'Angelo. It really is, though. It's not even the content on social media that induces rage. Like, you could show me a fake video and I'll just be like, that's a fake video. Or you can show me a Reddit post that's like 5 chapters long and I'd be like, that didn't happen. That's just somebody trying to piss me off. But just the basic little things of me trying to use social media is what actually pisses me off. Somebody said, am I just easily impressed or was that heat? I don't think it was a bad poem. If you want my honest opinion, hold on a second, because I'll give it to you. I want to be radically open and honest with you right now. I think that poem was actually pretty fine. And I feel like poetry in general works a lot better when it's like in context with like other stuff like that. But I'm like, I feel like, oh, now the video wants to be paused. Chat, the video is literally paused by itself now, randomly. Anyways, I really do feel like I'm but a fleck of my becoming, layers too serried to crawl from carapace before my legacy, scar my skin for I can't grow without your abrasion. It's a little more thought put into the words, right? Now, granted, I'm not the biggest poetry fan in general, and I'm a really horrible judge of what makes good poetry or bad poetry. But I am rooting for more shorter things. Please experiment with words more, Milo. I think it's going to be better for everybody. Someone said, was it paused or frozen? I honestly don't even know. Someone said, I'm a published poet and I didn't hate that poem. It's all right. Not the greatest thing I've heard, but it's all right. Yeah, exactly. I don't want to sit here and be like, oh my gosh, Milo, put down the pen. We're over it. We don't want to hear from you anymore. With that being said, you have people online like reviewing the poems and stuff like that. But I think this is a fine place to wrap it. Now, granted, I did not hit every single point. And I'm going to leave this in the video. I did not hit every single point in the Milo Age of Scorpius scenario. And if you followed this drama, you know that it is true. However, I just want to be like, multiple things can be true. There is obviously more to the story. I just mostly wanted to focus on the parts that I thought were interesting to talk about all these months later. So if you want something more in depth, you can definitely find it. But I just thought it would be a little bit more fun to like step back from it. Does that make sense? Someone said there's so much Milo lore. No, there really is. I said in the beginning of the stream, and I will reiterate it right here. Being comprehensive was not my goal. Just because I am that guy who will whip out a 2.5 hour video on someone. Hopefully it was kind of understandable why I approached this topic the way that I did. I really hope so. Someone said this person is a lolcow for the far right, by the way. I mean, that's another reason that I mean, if that's true, I didn't even see it, but that's another reason that I try to approach everything with empathy, because like when you do get into a certain level of granularly over analyzing everything that somebody is doing, it just starts getting weird. I feel like there are certain scenarios that are more interesting to just look at from a top level view. But yeah, no, as far as like constantly hounding Milo and following every single thing that he's doing or whatever, that's not interesting to me at all. Someone said, I hate that if that's true. I hate that if that's true too. I mean, chat, I'm not bragging because actually it's pretty awful. I'm on lolcow, not as a person, as a topic. I think people have been talking about me there for years. So because of that, I completely avoid that. I don't know if people are still talking about me, by the way. It literally, I might be being delusional right now, but yeah, now when it comes to like a Kiwi Farms / lolcow approach to content, I cannot deal with those websites. They're so insane and not a normal way of consuming content. So I think watching lolcow content myself, wait, what does that say? I missed that comment. It came and went. It came and went. So my starting to look on generally sucks. Well, okay, look, I will include that point in the video. If you have enough energy in your life to literally obsessively track every single thing that some person is doing, you should be directing it to billionaires. Okay? People are asking what lolcow is. I don't even like the word lolcow. Hold on. I can tell you what that means after the stream. Remind me to talk about lolcow. And if there's anything else I told you to remind me after the stream, bring it up. But we're going to record an outro. All this to say, hopefully this video made sense to y'all. Sometimes I feel like, I don't know, it's hard to explain my own fascinations. And maybe that's why this topic was so interesting to me. But anyways, hopefully you never have to think about Milo Winter or the Age of Scorpius ever again. I recorded this video right here live on YouTube. Don't go away, chat. The stream is not over. I'm just recording this for the video later. I recorded this video right here live on YouTube where I actually stream quite often. Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 12 p.m. Eastern time. Unless I don't. I'm getting dehydrated. In which case, I have simply decided not to come to work that day, which honestly, that's on you, not me. Anyway, I hope to see you in the next video or stream, but if not, it doesn't really matter that much. Okay, bye. Okay, I'm gonna stop recording. Okay, I'm still streaming. Anyways, yeah, no. Let's talk about lolcow for a second. Dude, the website is so garbage. It's such a garbage way. I'm not gonna pull it up, but essentially, I saw someone say it's a gossip site. It is pretty much a gossip site, but it's so far beyond the beyond. Essentially, when someone turns into a lolcow, they're a source of like constantly following every single little thing that they're doing and picking it apart. So any sort of like, oh, doxing is on the table, going after people's family is on the table when you're a lolcow. Every single little thing that you do, people will fixate on you. And it's truly not lost on me that many of the... I need more water. It's truly not lost on me that many of the people who are targets of lolcow anything are autistic or trans in some way. Honestly, it's so like deeply linked to transphobia, ableism, just a lot of really nasty stuff. And that is why when someone says an actual site, it is, yeah, I'm not going to sit here and list them all. There are multiple sites where people do this lolcow thing. That's why, like, I don't even go to these websites. So if you're telling me like, oh, people are also talking about him there, I wouldn't know. I really wouldn't know. Someone said any YouTube video that puts out a Chris Chan video gets an immediate side eye from me. I would have to agree. I would really have to agree, because it's like, after a certain point, there is literally only so much you can say about somebody who is actually like either unwell or like feeding off of your attention in some way. I feel like for me to make a video about someone like Chris Chan would just be, or actually I don't want to misgender. I think Chris goes by Christine, right? But anyways, for me to make a video about someone like Christine Chandler or any of that kind of thing, it's so disingenuous, because there's no way for me to try to act like I'm bringing attention to something that I think is important to talk about. I feel like lolcow content is so just making fun of people. I don't know. And that's never been my bag personally. Someone says like hate watching. It's absolutely hate watching. Someone said, isn't Chris Chan an actual criminal though? Yes. And I don't personally believe that me making a video about that is good for me, Christine Chandler, or any of my viewers. Does that make sense? I might not be explaining it properly because I kind of go just off of vibes, but I feel like there's still just a level of like feeding off of negative attention where it turns into a bad thing for someone like me to make a video about. Someone said, so it's like snark. It's like snark on steroids. Okay? Snark on steroids. If you say to me like, oh, I'm on like the snark subreddit for like this person or whatever, I'm not going to be like, okay, you are probably in some way like something ist or whatever. But on these lol-cow websites, they literally are okay just using slurs and doxing people and doing all these crazy. I'm just like, it's not good people on these websites, bro. It's not good people on these websites. It's really, truly, truly, truly not. Someone said, chat, I hate to break it to you, but criminals are still people, and that doesn't justify transphobic lol-cowing. I would have to agree. Also, I hate the way people will whip out the transphobia because the person they're talking about is not a good person. I hate it. It pisses me off so bad, actually. It's like, it's really, 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 really aggravating because I'm just like, you're saying, without realizing it, you're literally saying that somebody's right to be respected, their gender. I'm just talking about their gender and their presentation, which is really important to people. It's contingent on them being a good person. And you're kind of framing any sort of level of trans acceptance you have for other people as just, well, they're not bad people, and that's why I'm being respectful. But if you're not a good person, I'm going to dead name you. I'm going to misgender you. We're going to do all these things, and I don't care because you're a bad person. It's like, you think that you're dunking on the person that you're talking about, but you're actually being transphobic to everybody. It's so stupid. I hate how quick y'all are. Not y'all, but you know what I mean. I hate how quick y'all are to misgender people because they're bad. Or you could be a criminal. You could be in federal prison for federal offenses that were bad. And I'm not going to like, I've just spewed transphobia because I think that's somehow making the situation better. Pisses me off. Anyways. Someone said, or how people discuss things like schizophrenia. Oh, like saying obviously they're schizophrenic, they do crimes. Yeah, no, that's another thing too, is like the way people talk about mental illness in general. But then like we're getting back into ableism, right? It took me over 20 years to realize this. It's not bad to have schizophrenia. Or in my case, I don't have schizophrenia. It's not actually bad to have depression or anxiety. These aren't like moral judgments to use against people because they're doing bad things or this, that, the other. When you do that, you're stigmatizing mental illness, which is something that many, many people are marginalized because of. So yeah, I hate the way people are talking about that. It's all just really, really annoying. People are talking about Lizzo. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Like, listen, there is stuff to criticize about Lizzo and the way that she's running her business and stuff that people are accusing her of and stuff like that. But if you genuinely think that that means like, okay, let's start devolving into misogynoir, right? Let's start being hateful. Let's start being fatphobic towards Lizzo because we don't like this thing that she did because she was wrong for whatever it was that she did. Miss me with that. We're not going to sit here and play like pretending like you actually care about one thing while making life worse for all these other people inadvertently and indirectly. So it's like calling a person slurs because they're also a bad person who happens to be a part of a minority group is still bigotry. I feel like a lot of people have that blind spot. And I've been trying not to say the word blind spot as often because I didn't even realize like it's not even that like the concept of a blind spot doesn't exist. It's just like a little while ago, it was brought to my attention that, hey, like language like blind spot or like I'm going to go into something blind or like a blind playthrough. Even that could be considered, you know what I mean? Like sort of just a misunderstanding of blindness or like maybe let's not take this thing. Now look, granted, chat, I'm not calling you ableist. If you look in your rearview mirror and you're like, oh, I didn't see him because he was in my blind spot. All I'm saying is like, there's so many ways in which disabilities or aspects of people's identity are like baked into our everyday language that we're not even thinking about. So hopefully this doesn't come across as me saying like, oh, don't use words, don't do this, that, the other. Y'all get what I mean. Someone said it makes sense for cars. Yeah. Chat, you can say blind spot. I've never heard a blind person say you can't call that thing in your side view mirror a blind spot. However, I think people saying, hey, this idea that you not knowing things equals blindness, I think that's a fantastic point. I think that's a great point. I actually really, really like that point because it really started making me think about something. I'm like, well, wait, why is it a blind spot? But what I'm actually trying to say is that I was ignorant. This is kind of interesting to think about. It's kind of interesting to think about. Someone said I'm blind. I'm just used to it at this point. Yeah, no. But again, like, don't take my out here non-blind advice on this. Please listen to people and what they're saying. I'm just telling you a little bit of the mild deconstruction that I've been trying to do. You know what I mean? That being said, I don't have blindness as a disability, but when I tell y'all I can't see at all without these glasses, I just have poor vision. There's a big difference. I'm trying to read the chat right now and I just can't. Nah, I'm gonna give myself a headache. My vision is so bad. It's so bad. It's so bad. Someone said off topic, do you drink tea? Wait, so someone said, I'm sorry, come on. If you think that I'm doing too much by saying, hey, even blindness is something that is commonly used to refer to ignorance and we don't realize it because it's really baked into our language, that's fine. That's just something that was brought to my attention and I sat with and I was like, you know what? I think I agree with that because I do genuinely think I default to that. It's a blind playthrough. I'm going in blind. I had a blind spot, but what I'm really just trying to say is I don't know things. And that's not the same thing as being blind. It's just another example of aspects about people being used to negatively refer to things. Someone said the glasses make you look younger. Do they? Hold on. Without? With. I don't feel like glasses make me look younger. Do they? Maybe they do. I have no idea. Someone said, do you plan on getting LASIK or not? Your glasses are lovely. Thank you. I really like these glasses. I am terrified of LASIK. And that sucks because I don't want to be like fear-mongering over medical procedures. It's just my personal thing. I'm scared. And I shouldn't be, but that's how I feel. People are saying I look older with the glasses. That's what I thought. I thought when I take my glasses off, it's almost like a hard sell. That like, oh yeah, I'm totally in my mid-20s or whatever. But like, I put them on and I feel like I finally look my age. I look young with both. I mean, granted, that's true. So I look the same age. Yeah, it's probably not even that big of a difference. It's probably not that big of a difference. Sometimes I like wearing glasses. I feel weird without them. Yeah, personally, I was never that one like person who wanted contacts or anything like that. LASIK was amazing for me. I got laser, not the knife. Yeah, I am not knocking LASIK at all. I feel like that's a lame thing to spread. Like, oh yeah, this medical procedure, don't do it. I'm just sharing my own opinion. Oh my gosh. Someone said LASIK is a scam. I mean, it could be. I don't know. Don't ask me about LASIK, chat. Don't ask me about LASIK. And don't ask me about a lot of things because I'm not a professional. All right, I'm reading chat. Someone said I've always thought you would kill it as a lesbian, D'Angelo. That's a funny comment. The way my approach to lesbianism, and you can check me if I'm wrong or whatever, I feel like the best thing I can do is just leave lesbians alone. I feel like as a man, I don't make jokes about like, oh yeah, this, that, the other. I'm just like, damn, if someone's really telling me, hey, we don't want you, maybe I could just be unwanted and not make it anybody's problem or make jokes about it. I don't know. That's just me personally. That's my approach to lesbianism as a man. I don't have one. I hope that works. Someone said thank. I see a lot of people saying thank you. Yeah, no, I'm gonna let y'all handle the WLW stuff. I feel like y'all got that on lock, and I don't have anything to contribute. Oh my gosh. I'm reading chat. Someone said that made my lesbian girlfriend laugh. All right, let's go. So the lesbian comment is so random. Do I have any pets? I've talked about in the past that I don't have any pets because I was scared, because I would have days where I'm not really paying that much attention to them and I don't want them to hate me or feel sad. But then someone brought up that I could get a cat. And so I've really been thinking about cats. I've been thinking about cats. Someone said lame is similar, ableist slur to go in blind, to be honest. It is actually. It really is. And I think I say lame a lot, which is wild. It really is. Anyways. I think there was one or two other things I wanted to talk to you about. What's my favorite cat breed? I like scary black cats. So it doesn't matter what breed you are. The silkier the cat is, and like the more it looks like. I like cats that don't show up on camera. You feel me? Those are my favorite cats. I feel like if you have a cat that is just so dark, you're looking at this entity and you're like, did you fall out of the night sky? Like, that's my favorite kind of cat. For sure. For sure. Sometimes I love black cats. Yes, black cats are so great. But like, excuse me, I like all cats. Oh, Quantum Mania. Quantum Mania. That's the thing that I said I was going to talk about, right? I said I was going to talk about Ant-Man Quantum Mania. Okay. Yeah, hold on. Let me check my agenda. Because, yeah, I really have an agenda, y'all. I'm trying to have good streams. I'm trying to make y'all feel like you're not wasting your time here. So the only thing I have left on the agenda... Oh, I have a point to make about Elon Musk and AI. Ew. I almost want to skip that. And then I was going to talk about Wikipedia. Okay. We have time for these three things. Number one, bro, Quantum Mania was so bad. Quantum Mania was so bad. I'm slow to call movies bad because I feel like I can usually understand the vision. Someone says that the first Ant-Man. No, I thought the first Ant-Man was really cute. Okay, I liked the first Ant-Man movie, bro. Ant-Man Quantumania, is that like the second or third one? I don't remember. Is literally giving like everything that was not good. Someone says a new Ant-Man movie. No, this is old. This is a couple years old. That is when someone said it was sour bad. It was so bad. That was when I started checking out of the MCU because I was like, you can't do this movie to me and expect me to keep showing up like this. Y'all got me looking stupid. Y'all got me looking dumb because I paid money to watch this. Oh my gosh. Someone said the first Ant-Man was so fun. It really was. I love Ant-Man 1. Actually, I don't know if I've made this point on camera before. I make this point in real life a lot. The first iterations of almost all Marvel movies were good. I like Thor. I like Iron Man. Even the first Avengers. I'm sure I've said this on stream before. Y'all had great origin stories. But, the longer we went on. Anyways. What else do we got? Okay, so someone said, please skip the Elon Musk topic. It's short. And I'm sorry. But I did just want to point out, since I did bring it up the first time and it was left unresolved. Oh my gosh, what is happening? Under growing pressure, Elon Musk backs down on new deep fakes. So there's your little update. After, was it almost like more than a week? I feel like it was almost weeks of people saying, hey, you should not be able to use Twitter's, I love how this website wants to use AI to narrate itself for me. Anyways, after weeks of people saying, hey, you should not be able to use AI to generate nude pictures of other people, and after governments and countries were stepping in and blocking Twitter and doing all these things, Elon has finally decided, okay, we're going to put some guidelines in place. So that was my little update. If you think I'm going to clap because people were using something that you gave them to create new deepfakes of children and people without their consent, and women were out here saying this is essentially like traumatizing, and you took a whole week to do anything about this and mostly did it because Twitter was getting blocked, your bag was blocked, we ain't finna clap. I'm just sharing that information with you for completeness' sake. Someone said, mind you, the guidelines don't work and people can still do the vile stuff they were doing before. Oh, I absolutely believe you. I absolutely believe you. I would believe that before I would believe that the guidelines actually work. Anyways. Someone said he should be in jail for letting that go on for even a few hours. I mean, Elon Musk should be in jail for a lot of reasons, in my opinion. But that is neither here nor there. Someone said, isn't the AI narrator an accessibility feature? I mean, even if it is, you could hire somebody. I don't know. Accessibility is awesome. Using AI to generate any and everything is not. Anyway, he gutted Twitter. Nothing is going to properly work for a while. I mean, when is the last time that Twitter has even properly worked? Listen, was this The Economist? Okay, I can't really like vouch for The Economist because I don't know anything about it. But if you want accessibility, hire me to read your articles, okay? Someone said we had robo voices before AI. Yeah, I do seem to remember text to speech existing before the use of generative AI. But hire me and I'll sit in front of a mic and be like, from drug to libel suits, Elon Musk has long been able to shrug off problems. Sorry, it's hard for me to talk because I've been talking for 3.5 hours. So actually, I'm not in a good place to read this right now, but I'll do it for you. Someone said there are plenty of computer voices that are not like asking an AI to generate this. Yeah. Actually, why have so many things that seem to have been a thing before generative AI now? Why do they now use generative AI? And I don't want to sound like that one person who doesn't know the difference between types of AI. I understand that a lot of things that existed before Gen AI would technically be considered AI in a vacuum, and that it's not always a harmful tool or whatever. But now, even most text-to-speech engines are still using actual AI in the traditional sense. It's just weird. It's really, really weird. Someone said they're all AI. The other ones are not large language models. Yes, exactly. Thank you. Tech people could explain this a lot better than I could. Someone says Snapchat filters being called AI now. Yeah, no, I mean, listen, we should definitely push back against like, well, first of all, we can push back against Snapchat filters in the first place, but like we can definitely push back against AI as a whole. And I think like being overly against it, I still think I just punched my microphone. I still think being overly against it is better than not being critical of it. That being said, I definitely do see some things like referred to as AI or even referred to as bad. And I'm like, this existed before ChatGPT. I'm reading chat. Someone said people can't tell the difference between CGI and AI anymore. That's what I talked about in my video yesterday with my background. Oh my gosh. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to do, because I have a few minutes, has anyone here ever played the Wikipedia game? Has anyone ever played the Wikipedia game? It's a really, really fun game. Someone said I finally caught you on live. Well, I'm glad you caught me. You're going to catch me doing something really dumb, though. This is not good content. I just thought it would be really interesting to do. When I was a kid wasting time at the library, there used to be this game you could play. I don't know if this is the exact website, but I feel like this might have even been it because it looks that old. It's so fun. It's so fun. Okay. Basically, the idea of 6 degrees of separation is that like for any one person, you only have to go 6 people out and you'll find somebody. You'll be able to get to any person on Earth, right? I don't think that's true. I definitely think there's some people in remote areas that you could probably not start with me and get to. However, that's kind of the idea with the Wikipedia game, is that like you can start from any article on Wikipedia and wind up on any other one. And you want to see how quickly you can do it in the shortest amount of time, right? I'm going to make this text a little bigger for you. So right now, the current round, it says, is like getting from the Andes. Is that how you say that? I hope so. To distill. Oh, it went away. Okay. How quickly can I get from artificial intelligence, which I was literally just talking about, to gospel, right? Let's play it. Let's play it. Oh, they gave me a time limit. Okay, that's not good. Okay, so look, chat. The easiest way to do this would literally just to be Control F for music. Wait, what? It's not working. Wait, are you trying to tell me the word music does not show up on the page? That's not possible. Wait, hold on. Okay, music is not working. Chat, I have like 90 seconds. Okay, I'm gonna go to like art. Why doesn't it say art anywhere? Okay, it says street art. Okay, art in Tel Aviv? Israel? I need y'all to be normal about this. I'm trying to get off of this Israel Wikipedia page. Okay, I can go to graffiti artwork. What is going on here? Okay, I'm literally just trying to get to gospel. I feel like there has to be something about music on the page for gospel. Or there has to be something about music on the page for graffiti. Hold on. Oh, it says music right there. Music videos. Okay, I have 30 seconds. I can get from music videos to gospel for sure. I don't see it. Oh my god, I only have song? Musical compass. There's not like a genre section. Bro. Okay. Hold on. I got from artificial intelligence to song. And I don't think it would have been that big of a jump going from song to gospel. I feel like if you had given me 45 more seconds, I could have gotten there. Boo. Someone said, hi, I just got here. What are we researching? Nothing. You're literally just finding out that I don't know how to use Wikipedia. Why did they only give me 2 minutes? Someone said that was really stressful. It was stressful. It was good content, though. It was good content. This next one has Mike Tyson. Yeah, not a fan. Probably going to skip it. But yeah, I feel like the Wikipedia game is so fun, low-key. I missed church. I did? I didn't even see church. Boo. Anyways, you probably could have gotten there. Someone said, can you go back to gospel? I swear they had open AI mentioned on their wiki. What? I wasn't on the wiki for gospel. I was on the wiki for song. I got derailed by Israel. Chat, that was wild, okay? Because I was really just clicking through links and I did not expect to wind up there. That's all I'm saying. Someone said just go on actual Wikipedia. Boo. I'm stuck between I want to play and that seems so stressful. Look. You can go here. Maybe don't do the one with Mike Tyson because he's a weirdo for real. But you can just go here, find one of the ones that's saying, why can't I scroll? My God. You can go there and then, oh, the round ends in 30 seconds. You can just play it yourself. Now, granted, I feel like going from Mike Tyson to kindergarten is really weird. But like, I don't think it's a real human being making these matchups. I don't think that's what's going on. Someone said you can just play on regular Wikipedia and assign yourself topics. Exactly. You can take off the stress. In fact, I'm going to try it one more time in 10 seconds without the time limit because y'all were stressing me out. As long as they don't give me something really weird. Chat, cross your fingers. Chat, cross your fingers. Don't give me something weird. Please. I sound like I'm gambling. Okay. Evolution to Emmy Award. Let's do it. I can get from the Wikipedia page for evolution to an Emmy Award. I know I can do that. Let's go to Wikipedia right now. All right. Here's my game plan. So you said you started playing and you won already? Dang. Okay, here's my game plan. The page for evolution should probably have things about like beauty, right? And then from there, I could get to like Angelina Jolie territory. Is this making sense? Is this clocking? And then from Angelina, I can probably get into the Emmys, even though I don't know if she's won one of those. But like, that's my goal. That's my game plan right now. I think surely on the page for evolution, we can find something about like beauty. This is so stupid. Okay. We can see everything that's on the page right here. Heredity, source of variation, social and cultural responses, maybe? Okay. Moral faculties. No. Well, wait, we have religious texts. Could I get from religious texts to the Emmys? I don't know about that. I'm going to go to... Oh, heredity. Heredity? That's hard to say. I keep wanting to say hereditary. Genetics! Okay. I can surely get to a discussion about beauty or beauty trends. If there's something about red hair on here, can I not find some sort of red-haired celebrity? Can I not find Ed Sheeran if red hair is mentioned on the page for genetics at all? That is my goal right now. Hold on. Oh my god, how would you not mention red hair on the page for genetics? That's insane. Okay, what about hair by itself? Oh my god, it says hair, but it doesn't actually it doesn't actually link to the page on hair. Why not? Why not? Okay, chat, I think I'm getting scammed right now. Someone said I'm good at this. I'm good at like coming up with a plan, but then actually enacting the plan, I'm not good at. Okay, hold on. Something here can take me to a celebrity, and I know that it's true. I know that this is true. If we were to do collagen. No. I feel like collagen would totally take us to a celebrity. Someone said search celebs with red hair. They don't even mention red hair on this page. That's where my mind goes when I start thinking about genetic traits. I just think about things that are like less common among human beings. Nah, we are going to get to the Emmys from here. Are there any celebrities? Chat, is there anyone famous with sickle cell anemia? I can't go back, by the way. I'm not allowed to press back. So now we're here on the page for sickle cell anemia. Are there like anemia influencers? Because if there is somebody, I'm not making fun of you if you have anemia at all. I'm more so like, there's got to be someone popular on here. For sure. Let's see. Society and culture. Oh my gosh, this is so painful. Oh wait, God is here. Could I get to God? I feel like I can work with that, but I don't know how. How would I get to God? How would I get to the Emmys from God? Chat, do you think I can get to the Emmys from God? I'm gonna click into. I feel like I can do it, but I don't know how I would do it. Someone said evolution research accolades Emmys. Oh, that's true though. Nah, screw it. I'm going the God route. We're doing a God speed run. Okay, I'm now on the Wikipedia page for God. And I feel like, oh, someone said click witchcraft. I should have done witchcraft. Because then I could find celebrities who are into witchcraft. Or, I could have found depictions of witchcraft in popular media. I literally could have done witchcraft and then probably gone to The Craft and then just gone to any of the artists who are really into it. Someone said you're really bad at this. Why didn't they do witchcraft? Okay, wait, hold on. Wait. Can I get back to witchcraft from the page about God? I surely can. If we do... Why are there so many different pages for paganism? So let's go with God. Okay, wait, hold on. I'm getting so mad. Wait, okay. We don't have any sort of like representation of God across popular culture. That's what I was hoping for here. Theism, atheism, agnosticism. Are there popular atheists? Oh my gosh, this is so bad. This is so bad. I should have gone with witchcraft. If I go to Germanic paganism, if I go to Germanic paganism specifically, someone said maybe you can find Scientology. Maybe. Wait, if I can get to religion, even though Scientology is a cult, I should totally. Oh, okay, hold on. Oh, wait, it says religion so many times. Oh, Proto-Indo-European mythology. Bro, I just wanted the default page for religion. Okay, I'm getting pissed off. Oh my god. Myth? No. Hold on. Wait, we have Albanian. Oh, that's Albanian paganism. Why is Wikipedia so specific? If it was just Albanian people, you know what I could do really easily? I only know like one person, I think. Is Dua Lipa Albanian or am I lying? Am I spreading misinformation? I mean, she's English, right? Wait, maybe I'm wrong. Am I wrong? I don't want to sound stupid. Okay, yeah, totally. I feel like I can get to the page for Dua Lipa by getting to the page for Albania. And then from Dua Lipa, can I not get to... Hold on. Albanian warrior dance? No. I just need Albanian people. Okay. Albanians. Dua Lipa has got to be on this Wikipedia page, bro, or you are actually mocking me right now. Hey! Okay. Thank you, Dua Lipa, for being the first Albanian to ever win a Grammy Award. Because now all I have to do is go to Grammy Award. Wait a second. Chat. Which one should I click? Should I click Dua Lipa or Grammy to get to Emmy? I feel like if I click Dua Lipa first, then I can get to Grammy. I think I should just... No, but people are saying Grammy. Okay, I'm going to click into Grammy. But I'm going to be really pissed if I can't get to Emmy from here. Okay. Wait, it was Emmys that I was looking for, right? All right. I'm finna recreate this for you. We got to Emmy from Grammy from Albanians. I didn't even have to go to Dua Lipa's page. We jumped from Albanian right to Grammy, from Albanian paganism, from Proto-Indo-European mythology, from Germanic paganism. I really could have just clicked witchcraft and saved a few steps. From God himself, from sickle cell disease. How did I get to God from sickle cell disease? Does God have anemia? And I got there from... Where did I get there from? Genetics. Okay. From evolution. And that's how I did it. I beat it. I beat the Wikipedia game, and it took a really long time because I'm stupid, but I tried. Someone said, thank you, God, for getting us to the Emmy Awards. For real. That was actually really fun. That was a little bit more fun than I thought it was. Thank you, Dua Lipa, for that one thing. I appreciate it. Oh my gosh. I'm reading chat. You slow roasted, but this still served. Exactly. I had to let it cook a little bit. I didn't move fast, but I moved with intention. And that goes a long way. Okay? Someone said, how many clicks was that? It felt like 10. I wasn't really counting, though. It felt like 10. I gotta write an essay, guys. Good luck with Wikipedia. All right. You probably could have gone for like Nobel or something at the start. Yeah, probably. Wait, what? I probably could have. But you know what? It's too late. It's too late. It's too late. Dua Lipa is God. I agree. Yes, that's kind of the moral of this story. Dua Lipa, God, and evolution are all the same thing. It's the same thing. Someone said one more. No. I don't want to subject you to one more, even though it would be really fun. But maybe next time. Okay. Is there anything else you want me to cover before I dip? Because I am finna dip. Any last topics? Someone said, can we do this again? I haven't laughed so hard in so long. I'll pull it back out when you're least expecting it on a live stream later in the future. Any last rapid fire topics? Because I got it. I'm here. I'm ready to offer you hot takes, opinions. Mother Teresa was also Albanian. Was she? I did not realize that. Is that true? Off topic, but you said you like Final Fantasy. I need your thoughts on Kingdom Hearts. Like everything that I'm wearing right now is currently inspired by Kingdom Hearts. Actually, in general, I try to like low-key dress like a Kingdom Hearts character. Look at the Kingdom Hearts esque-ness of this zipper pull. So that's my thoughts on Kingdom Hearts. What else do we got? Opinion on pickle chips? Nah, that's not it. What happened to your website in 2021? I was going to try to sell you all something, and then I realized that I had to let it cook for longer, and so I stopped and did not try to sell it, which I feel like is a really ironic thing considering the topic of today's stream. Shane Dawson's new movie about being canceled. What? Are you lying? Shane Dawson's new movie about being canceled? If that's real, no. No, thank you. Someone said, you mean you have massive shoes? I mean, Sora has left some pretty big shoes to fill, that's for sure. What else do we got? Opinion on pickles in general? I'm sorry, I'm not a fan. I'm much more of like a sweets. Excuse me. I'm more of a sweets person than a pickle person. I see people asking me to cover the Danish Deception Girl. I don't know what that is, so I can't do that. Sorry. Harry Styles is releasing a new album soon. Yes, he is. That's interesting. Bruno Mars is also releasing an album, and that's fun. What else do we got? This is fun. Can I get a book recommendation? Sure. I'll leave you all with a book recommendation. We'll go back to Storygraph. I'm going to look at what I read recently. You're already signed in. Okay, wait, hold on. Make sure it's not going to show crazy stuff, even though I've already revealed myself. I already jumped the gun there. Okay, cool. So of the books I've read recently, I mean, Cersei was pretty good. Seascaper is kind of short. All Fours was kind of wild, bro. V.E. Schwab writes things that are usually pretty popular. Jade City. I'm trying to think of something, because a lot of these things are really popular. Like me recommending Children of Time to you is kind of like whatever, because it's already in so many recommendations. You Weren't Meant to Be Human was pretty good. The Will of the Many is already so popular, me recommending it would just be like silly. I'm going to recommend that you read Giovanni's Room if you haven't already, because it's like so short. It's a really, really, really short book written by James Baldwin, published in 1956. Talks about some themes that I think are really interesting. You can probably definitely find the book for free. Really brilliantly written. Has some stuff in there for sure. A lot of misogyny, products of its times, and things that shouldn't be excused. But like, it's also part of just the characters themselves are really problematic. So it's not just difficult to read because it's like the author himself was being a bad person. But yeah, no, like Giovanni's Room is lit. It's so good. That's might be the easiest book recommendation I can make to anybody. Is like, you're not going to waste your time. And even if you finish like it and you didn't super love it, that's fine because it was barely 200 pages. Someone said one more recommendation. I recommend, if I had to give one more recommendation that you should read. One more recommendation? I'm trying to think. There's some good stuff on here. Hold on. Let me see. The Old Man and the Sea, bro. I feel like Hemingway is low-key so overrated. Sorry, I shouldn't even say that. Tinder is the Night is so good. I would recommend I Lock My Door Upon Myself, but this book is really hard to find. Mickey 7, more Toni Morrison. Wuthering Heights. Now look when I finished Wuthering Heights. June 16th. Long before that movie came out. Once again, I'm trying to be cool before it's cool to be cool. I recommend that you read The Last Unicorn. Read that. That's my recommendation for you. This book is so good. I cried so badly reading that book. Where's my phone, actually? Well, I don't have my phone, but if I did, I could show you the things in there. Hold on, wait. Do you want to hear some of my notes from this? If I can find my phone really fast, give me like 30 seconds. Never mind. My phone is actually right here. I would do some of my notes from The Last Unicorn, and we can cry together because I feel like it's so beautiful. I know I'm so like known for like hating things or whatever. I want you to know that there are things in this world that I love beyond like a shadow of a doubt. Okay, cool. So, okay, great. So like, let's see. So like there's this one part in the book where somebody who I don't want to spoil has like disappeared. But through the works of magic or whatever, one of the characters was able to speak to this person one last time. And what he said this one last time was, I do not think that I will ever see you again, but I will try to do what would please you if you knew. And you, where will you be for the rest of my life? You know what I mean? That kind of sums up the whole book in general. Like, reading the book feels like losing somebody. And it's so grating and painful and beautifully written. And it kind of answers a lot of unanswered questions of like, what do you do when somebody disappears? I don't know. It's really, 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 really interesting. There's also a lot of really awesome descriptions of magic in the book, which I think are really cool. It's also really funny for some reason. Oh, there's this one line that goes so hard. Where one of the characters was like being criticized for being in love with another character or whatever, and he said, "I love whom I love." Prince Lear repeated firmly, "You have no power over anything that matters." I'm like, that's such a good line, bro. You can blow my mind. I'm not easily entertained, but you can do it. You just have to work really, 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 really hard. And there's so many good like similes in here. He's so good with metaphors and stuff like that. Life in the castle went on in the silence that fills a place where no one hopes for anything. I don't know. You could crack open the book and just find good stuff in there. But yeah, remember, love who you love, and people who hate it have no power over anything that matters. And I don't know, try to do things that I guess be proud of, even if no one's looking. Bye everybody. Thank you for coming to the stream. It was really fun. I enjoyed it.